Rowandean.
Hello, and welcome to my health and there's another one to the lockdown. We're getting almost good at this and almost on time. One day. So welcome to not one, but
Hello.
it's got four if you count Lorainne.
No, there's more.
The system doesn't take any control at the time yeah. If you like what the system tries then directly, they do have two options administrations. You can either get from the directly to the website or the website open to so whichever way works for you. But we have got new stuff, interesting stuff, or new. So let's start at the top. Where's the top from?
Hi, I'm Katrina from Rowandean. Great to be here. It's lovely to be on at Secret Sewing, and we've got lots of fabulous things to show you today.
Excellent. And Lorainne and Jeff.
Morning. Yeah, morning. You know, it's our day off.
This afternoon.
Yeah, it's our day off today. We've pushed in specially for all of you. Some of you will know us, I think. I can see a few names popping up already. But for those who don't, hopefully you'll see something that you like and you'll find out all about us.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to look at some Funky Friends factory toys, some bags, and yeah, we'll see how we go then.
Hello everyone, my name is Sam from Mum's Makery and I'm going to be bringing you a lot of spring-inspired needle felting projects.
Brilliant. Okay, so, well, Sam, what about you?
Okay, so as I said, it's about needle felting. So if you don't know what needle felting it is, it's taking of I call it fluff, but it is sheep's wool. But as you can see, it's very, very fluffy. And what we do is we have some fluff and we have a felting needle, and on our felting surface we can create lots and lots of different things. Now, Mum's Makery does have a slight niche with this. Back in 2019, I started printing, producing and designing my own templates. This is a very basic one. But you use these templates to help you get repetitive shapes, particularly when you're doing something like the foxglove, where you're going to be making lots and lots of the same shape. That and a trusty pocket scale will mean that you weigh out the wool and you fill the template. You weigh out the wool, you fill the template, and it really breaks down and makes really intricate and what looks like very complicated projects very, very simple for the beginner.
Excellent. Now, I think once again, I was busy sorting everybody else out at the beginning of this and forgot to turn my own microphone on, which I seem to do on a regular basis. So I will explain again. We've got some new lovely guests. I know you heard all of those and that is fine. However, if you see anything that you like and you want to buy anything that you like, you do need to go directly to these guys' website. Nothing comes through Secret Sewing Club direct. You have to go through these guys. You can get in touch with them really easily. There is a QR code on their page when they're demonstrating, and their websites are all in the links on both Facebook and YouTube. And that's a lesson to me. Turn your blooming microphone on. Every time I do it, I spend that long getting everybody else sorted, I forget to do it myself, but never mind. Lorainne and Jeff, yes, you're new as well, so tell me about all the lovely new things that you have and your lovely new unit that you've just moved to.
Yeah, we have just moved here, so we are not as organised perhaps as some of the others, and we're literally just doing this off a phone today. We haven't prepared a lot of demonstrations, but Jeff will talk about how techniques and tips. on how he makes the toys, because we always have the saying, if I can sew, you can. Or is it if Jeff can sew,
I'm
you
going
can?
to grab my donkey.
Yeah, oh, it's getting his donkey.
Excuse me in the front of the screen, but
Be careful.
this is dynamite, and it's my mindful donkey.
Yeah, we love dynamite.
When I'm a bit down, I tickle him here, and everything becomes okay. So I made dynamite the donkey. So we've got what, half a dozen, 7 patterns of the same Funky Friends factory range that we'll talk about some techniques and how the best to do. Essentially 3D sewing, you move it from, you use the patchwork and quilting, you work in 2D, with these toys you're working in 3D. So it's a little bit different, you've got to get your head around it, but we'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about the artist too.
Yeah, can I just say, really, we are getting a lot of comments about the echoey sound.
Yeah, I am trying
Yeah.
to sort this. So
I
what I
think
think
quite a
we'll do
few
is we'll go
people.
straight to Katrina, and we'll
Yeah.
let Katrina crack on with her demos, and I will try and sort the echo in the meantime. So Katrina,
Okay,
if you're ready, we will pass it over to you.
Okay, I'm going to start. I've got all my designs here that I want to show you today. I've got a collection of projects that I really love to do, and I think really when I show you these, you'll see they're all hand stitched. The design's printed on the fabric. So this one's called C. It's got I like a lot of sparkle in my stitching, whether it's sparkly threads or sparkly beads and sequins. So this is the first one. This is called C. And then the one that goes with it is the one that's called Sand. So if you look at the designs, they're really quite tactile. They're all hand stitched. They're easy stitches to do. When you're looking at a project, they've got a print on the fabric, so that's going to give you a guide as to where to stitch, and of course the instructions. So I'm going to be demonstrating these ones to start with, but then we have another one here. This one is called Cowslip Meadow. I really love the designs of, I love flowers and landscapes. That's been our thing for sort of over 30 years that we've been doing Rowandean, is the fabulous countryside, the fabulous flora that we've got. So this is a springtime flower. So we've got Cowslip Meadow, and it's worked on a fabulous tweed that we have made for us, and it's just great to stitch with. It's really lovely. And then another one that I think is really super. This one is Heleniums. It's got some salvia on there. So this is from our mini range, and the mini range are ones really very easy stitches, easy to do, and a nice finishable size of piece. You don't. I think people worry about whether you'll be able to have time to finish it. Does it take a long time? It's really quick to do. It's really fun to do, and most of all, it's relaxing to do. So those ones there are part of today. Then later on, when we get into the other demonstration, we've got springtime here, spring orchard. This is a new design. They're much bigger. They're worked on the tweed, but they're really basic stitches. We've got a few straight stitch, a few French knots. You don't need to know many stitches to do this kind of stitching. It's more freestyle, quite inventive. It's never wrong. You'll enjoy it. It's got a plan. There is a plan to do the work, but you can work through the design bit by bit, or you can actually just enjoy the stitching. It's not something like a counted method of stitching that you have to follow absolutely. It's really quite freestyle. So this one's called the Poppy Field, and this is probably what a little bit Rowandean is about. It's looking at a design and a little bit falling off the edge, because I like the foreground in a design. And then something that's popping up in the garden at the moment, and that is snowdrops. So these are rather lovely to stitch. They're beautiful. They just think it's really almost springtime when you're looking at those. So I'm going to start with the first demonstration. I'll just put my thing out of the way. I'm going to look at the one called Sand. Now, so Sand really, it's very easy. So if you're an absolute beginner, you could do this design. If you had a little bit of knowledge of stitching, that's fine, but you don't need to have done this before you use your kit. So in the kit that you get a whole really a large piece of fabric. I'm just going to take that out. So that's the design. It's on the fabric. It's got a print. They're screen printed individually onto the fabric, and then you get the colours. So all the colours are on a card, and in the instructions it will tell you which ones to use for certain areas. But I love to use variegated threads, whether they're in wool, variegated threads, and plain colours, sparkly colours, a little bit of knitting yarn as well. So all those textures, they're on a card, ready for you to use. So to start with, I'm going to put my work into a hoop. Now we recommend these definitely for whether you're expert stitcher or a beginner. It's called a spring hoop. They're really too good with your work. You just, to actually put your work into the hoop, you're just going to put the spring onto the table, and then you're just going to hold the spring and just release it into the hoop, and that's going to give really the tightness as you start to stitch. So I'm just going to turn my work just the right way around. Okay, the first one that I'm going to just show you is something that's these are spiders' webs. They're mainly shells on this design. They're quite tactile. There's two or three different ways of working these. Some have beads underneath, so the limpet shells stand quite high. And then we've got some where there is felt underneath, and these ones just give that a gentle shape, or you can actually do the stitching straight onto the fabric. So I'm going to show you what I've done to start with. There is a print as a guide, so that as you start to stitch, you're just going to take the thread and you're going to go over the fabric and over the print. And at the end of the day, you won't see the print, but it's really nice to have a little bit of a starting point on the fabric. So you're just going to take that all the way through, all the way around. And as you go around, you'll cover the print. So we're just going to do a straight stitch, really easy to do, and you're going to actually just go all the way around. Now I'm not going to go all the way around at the moment. I'm just going to stop here, and this is the one that I've done earlier where I've gone all the way around, and I'm starting to actually fill the shell in now. So I'm going to bring the thread up, and I'm going to turn the needle to the eye of the needle, and I'm going to go back and under the next one. And then each time I'm going to go back and under the next one. And as I start to fill the shape, you'll eventually see a ridge where the thread's gone over the stitching. And this is forming that part of the spider's web. So you just keep going round. And it's much easier if you use the eye of the needle. You're not going to go through the fabric by mistake. It's all lying on the surface of the stitching. So you just go round and round. And eventually, as they're variegated threads, you'll see that, you know, the colours change. So the magic happens it'll just happen. Just don't worry about where to put each colour. It'll just happen. And as you go around, you'll fill those spikes, and you won't see those. And you keep going round until you've completed the whole thing. Now, if you run out of thread or you want to change colour, because you can make these really colourful, you just take the needle to the back of the fabric, and then you're just going to restart with a new colour. So as you go all the way around, you won't see those spikes at the end. So I go back to my original design. You can see here that I've got the little shape there, just appearing. And I love this idea that you can use different textures. So whether you've got knitting yarns or embroidery thread or beads, they could look really superb and create and really quite a tactile thing. So I'm just going to go on to the next little bit now. Now this is my favourite stitch. My favourite stitch is French knot, and it's something that's really easy to do. You'll find it it's not difficult. And I think if you look on our YouTube page, you'll see lots and lots of times. I wonder how many million French knots I've done, and they're just a beautiful stitch. Okay, so you bring the thread up from the back of the fabric, and then you're just going to hold the thread about a couple of centimeters away above the surface of the fabric, fairly taut, and then you're just going to go around once, twice, and as you tilt the needle point down, you're almost going to the same place, but not exactly. So you just push the needle in. As soon as the point of the needle's through the fabric, just tighten the thread, and that's just going to keep that shape around the needle. And then you're just going to let that travel in on its own, and just let it twist itself in. It will really do its own thing. Don't be tempted to sort of guide the thread in. It'll do it all on its own. So again, just go once, twice, and then you're just going to go through. And it's that tightness there that as you pull the thread, it'll just keep it just twizzled around the needle, and then you're just going to pull that through. And that's a stitch that we use continually. Really, it's just something that as you get going, it is a very, very relaxing stitch to do. So I'm just going to fasten that off at the back, and I'm just going to go to, I don't know how my time is going. I think it's disappearing every time I start and stitch. I love to show all the stitches, but time just goes so quickly. So I'm going to leave those two for the moment, so you can see we've done.
We've got loads of time. I'm going to grab you some questions that we've got on
Okay.
on Facebook. Oh, hang on, that's me, because I've got my volume on here. There we go. Off. Sorted. Right, questions. Well, we've got a lot of people saying they're doing a Rowandean kit at the minute.
Lovely.
We've got some people saying, good afternoon, ladies. Rowandean's my favourite. Sarah likes the idea of using the eye of the needle. Says so much easier.
But yeah, that's definitely easier.
Grab the ones on YouTube as well, which are Elaine saying designs are beautiful, and Helen saying you make it look so easy.
No, it is easy, and I think the beauty of this kind of stitching is it's just relaxing. You can sit and chat, you can sit anywhere to stitch, and really just enjoy the colours and the textures that you're creating, and it just makes you feel great to do. You don't need any equipment in that. You don't need massive equipment to do this craft. It's just so relaxing.
Perfect. Right. We seem to be missing a couple. If you're ready to pause there. We seem to be missing a couple. Oh, and Sam's just disappeared. Okay.
I'm just going to carry on stitching, I think.
All right. Well, I'll switch it back to you, and you can just carry on stitching.
I'll just carry on stitching.
While I find my disappeared people and my black screen person. Oh, it's
okay.
going well today, Katrina. Oh, we've got a mug.
Every time.
Okay, so I'm just going to show you.
For a sec.
I forgot to put my camera on. Sorry.
Okay, so this design, this one's called Cowslip Meadow. It's worked on a wool fabric. It's got an outline print on there, and it's just really, really good. Basically, you start in the distance and you work forward. So the basis of this design is straight stitch. So straight stitch is really so easy. There is a print on the fabric that will show you the approximate size of the stitch, so that you know where to start. And there is a plan working through all the different colours of straight stitch, and then we're going to add the texture afterwards. So that in this design, really straight stitch, a couple more French knots, and then there are fabrics as well that I've used to create a little bit of texture. They're couched down, so it's what this fabric here is an organza fabric. It's a man-made fabric, and we really use it for creating a coloured background, creating texture. But to actually do the little bits of grass here, you just take a little bit of the organza, and then you're just going to roll it into a cylinder shape. You can twist it, you can distort the colours, and then you're just going to pin that in place, and that's going to give you a little bit of texture, just really a texture that's just going to stay on the fabric. To hold it in place, you're going to do what's called couching. So I'm just going to take another colour, and you're just going to go over the organza, and that's just going to hold that in place. And then you're going to fill in with your stitching all the way around. So that shape, just a couple of pins there. I've got the flower head pins, they're great. It's a long pin with a, you know, if you drop them on the floor, you can see them. But for working with organza, they're really going to hold the fabric in place, and really very, very useful to have. So as you start stitching, that's just going to give a little bit of texture there. And then you're going to stitch all the way around. So it's quite quick. There's nothing, it's much quicker than doing a counted method of stitching. Very easy to do. And I think as well, with always when we started doing Rowandean about 35 years ago, we decided that we would put all the threads and have everything in the pack that you're going to need. So you've got needles, got chenille needles, we've got the bead needles, a milliner's needle I tend to use. It's a bit easier to thread than an actual bead needle. So everything's in the pack that you're going to need. So when you go to the featured designs on the website, you can see all the different ones that we've got there today, and you can, you know, as soon as you click on those, you would see everything that's in the pack and what you're actually physically going to get for your design. But there's always clear in stitch diagrams. There is a plan, even if you want to do, you know, one bit and do more French knots. The beauty of this is that you can do that, and you can change your design as you go.
Katrina, I've got a couple of questions for you. We still have an egg. There you go. I think it's coming from you guys, but we'll work that out in a second. Pen says, are you doing another book?
Am I doing
another book?
Oh, I don't know about another book. I've got lots of ideas for another book. It's just a matter of getting down to it and just putting it in order. So it is a lot of work. I mean, it took me ages to do the first book, and I think that was quite daunting. It was quite daunting to do that. You know, it takes such a long time to do. But it's I'm never going to say no, I'm not doing one. You never know. It's in the pipeline a bit.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to say that. I'm not entirely sure.
I'm not entirely sure what's happened to Lorainne and Jeff. We just have a stripe. But luckily, they are the last demo, so that is fine. Oh, they're back! No. Well, oh, we're on a little tour. Oh, there we go. Hi, Lorainne. I'm not entirely sure. We've never had this. I usually only have to deal with Sasha flashing people. We don't usually have this as well.
Hello, we're back. I have our jumpsuit on though.
Yeah. It's a bit like Challenge Annika, isn't it?
I know. It's because we're upstairs and we're trying to do a bit of work. Obviously, we need to make sure whether you need.
I was charging my phone up at the same time, making sure I didn't lose the signal for the charge.
Okay, no problem. Right. I think if you're ready, I'm still trying to chase this echo, so I will go back to trying to sort that out. If you're ready, Sam,
I can't really hear you.
You can't really hear me? Oh no, what's going on?
I don't know if it's the same for everybody else.
Everybody is unmuted.
We can hear you, Hayley. It's not super loud, but we can hear it.
Okay.
It sounds clear here.
Shall we blame this new microphone?
Yeah. Okay.
Just
Cool.
blame that.
All right. Do you want me to go now?
Yes. If you're
Okay.
ready to go, then let's send you next.
So hi everyone, my name is Sam and the company is Makery, and as I mentioned at the start of the show, we specialise in needle felting, which isn't sewing, but you can incorporate needle felting into designs and into your patterns.
Katrina,
and I'm going to show you one of the things that we've got for you today is the lovely lavender kit, and
but I don't know how to fix it.
I've got to remember which side it's on. Nope. You can see back here that we've incorporated a little felt panel into this little sort of bag design here. So you can needle felt directly onto fabric, which I'm going to demonstrate for you in just a moment, but also you can create all the things that you see behind me. We've got some show specials for you. So many of the projects on here are not yet available on my website. So the spring stuff usually comes out on the 1st of February. So you guys have got to jump on a lot of or a few of the spring projects before this actually gets released to the main website. If you've got any questions regarding needle felting, pop it in the chat. I see some familiar faces, so hello to you guys. It's lovely to see you all. I've done something a little bit new for this show, and this is an exclusive for this show, which is I've made a couple of what we call quick starter kits. And this is the lovely lavender one, and the lovely lavender creates lovely lavenders, which are all around me at the moment. The actual kit itself does a little card and of course a lavender sachet, and you get some lavender and a little organza bag and everything in there as well. The difference between this and most of my other kits is this actually includes a foam and a needle. So the idea is it's a quick starter. It gets you into doing something very, very quickly. And this is my this is the piece of fabric that I'm going to be working on today. This is just an offcut of a piece of fabric that I had. Now, when you're needle felting on fabric, then you want to make sure that it is a fabric like this tweed that I've got, or a felt fabric you can do, simply because if you, as you know, things like cotton and stuff like that, if you take a very sharp, very pointy needle like this one, these needles are barbed and you're going to destroy any kind of fabric that you fell into. Now, the other thing that we do, as I mentioned before, are needle felting templates, and I will touch on that a little bit more in just a moment, but the templates help you create consistent shapes. So this template, for example, made the front of this. It made the panel on the front of this. So it gives you some very, very consistent shapes, and you weigh out your wool. This is the cherry blossom template, and I'll be demonstrating that later on this afternoon. So you weigh out your wool, X amount of grams of wool, evenly spread in the template, and you get the idea. You can produce very, very consistent shapes. And what that helps you do, I think, as a beginner, and when I started, it was the reason I started making these templates and designing them, was to make my life easier, because I wanted to make all of these lovely flowers, but trying to do it freehand was very, very difficult, because you can weigh the wool, but getting that shape every single time, it can be difficult. So what I'm going to show you is a little bit of sort of freehand. So this is one way that you can jump straight in. All of the kits and projects come with full tutorials, be it a PDF download or a full video on YouTube. And we do have a YouTube channel. So do, after the show, do hop over and visit our channel as well. What I've got over here is a selection of the purples. I've got a lilac, I've got a royal purple, and I've got a light purple. And what I'm going to demonstrate is a little bit of hand blending, and that's where you can take one colour like this, and you just add in a pinch of another. And to hand blend, you stack your fibres, you pull them apart, and then you stack them, and you pull them apart and you stack them, turn them, pull them, stack them. And what that's going to let you do is create a blend. Now, hand blending can be quite choppy, and for the lavender, that's what I actually want, because we want to create a little bit of variation. You can add in a third colour. I generally don't do more than 3 colours, but you know, you can mix as many colours as you want. And what you'll end up with is a nice little choppy blend. Let me see if my camera will focus there. So you can see it's got some light areas, it's got some dark areas. Might be a little bit better on the light surface there. So what I'm going to do, this doesn't require any weights and measures. This is going to be a little bit of freehand. And I'm going to create one of these lavenders. I'm taking probably something that is about 0.1 of a gram. Take your fibres, fold them over. In fact, let me pop you on this camera. Take the fibres, fold them over, and roll them up. You want the frizzy end. You'll have to excuse the keyboard and stuff in the background. And you just roll it between your fingers. And because what we use are carded bats, let me just move that around and get in a little bit closer. Because what we use are carded bats, then what that means is that you're going to, the fibres are sort of almost halfway to being felted themselves. So when you roll them over, you're going to end up with sort of a little nub of fibre, frizzy end. Do is I will just make maybe 4 or 5 of these. Again, we're just folding it over, rolling it up, and you want different sizes. Give it a little bit of a felt. Now I'm working on what's called a flat mat. What you get in the what you get in the quick starter is a foam, and different surfaces will work. Obviously a foam doesn't have quite as much stopping power as the mat. This mat, when my needle touches the mat, you can feel it. It's quite dense.
Knocked your sound off.
Then
I've got a little apology to make.
With a foam, you just want to make sure that you're not driving out the bottom, and the firmer you felt, the less it will actually stick to your mat anyway. So I'm doing these very, very quickly. Just rolling between your fingers, different sizes, little bit of felting, doesn't need much at all, apart from I keep attaching myself to them. So I've got 4 there. I'm going to use up this last little bit. And you can truly create some stunning pieces. If you want to see anything behind me, I will attempt to get them. So there we go. I've got a few little bits there. I might need a few more, I don't know. But I'm going to get my fabric, And as I said, this is just a piece of sort of tweed fabric that I had left over. And I just said about not driving your needle through. And now what we want to do is we actually want to drive the needle through, because we're going to take these fluffy bits, and this is what we are going to use to attach this to our fibre. So I'm going to decide where I want my little lavender to be, and then hold it down and drive through. Now, if you're working on a mat like this, then you may want to put some foam underneath it. I have hit a few tables in my time. And then just begin by layering them. So we start with one at the tip and attach the next one. And I'm leaving these free, so I'm not attaching these at all. You can see that they're just standing proud. And I think that sort of brings a nice kind of 3D effect to the project as well. And there is all manner of things that you can do. So whilst I am attaching these to my little piece of fabric, I do have a couple of mentions, and that is the first one is that Mum's Makery is celebrating its birthday this month. Hurrah! I'm 6. I'm sure there are some people that say I act like it as well sometimes, but in our Facebook group, and you can just head over, it's facebook.com/group/mumsmakery, and if you head over to our Facebook group after the show and join up, we are running some games and giveaways where you can win some fibres and all manner of there's all manner of fun things going on in the group. And as Hayley mentioned at the start, there's a QR code. It's on one of these sides, I don't know. If you shop that code, that will take you to a very special selection of the projects that you see behind me. And we are doing, or I am doing, a very special little free gift for everybody who shops any of these projects over the next couple of days. You'll find a little free something that will pop into your bag as well. So do make sure that you use that link. If you search for these projects on my website, you won't find them. You must use the Secret Sewing Club link. So I'm almost done with my my little lavendery bits. I'm gonna add a little bit more down the bottom here. I'm gonna go a little bit darker. Probably could have chosen a better fabric, Sam. I'm terrible when I do demos. We do live shows, and there's always something that I've got that's the wrong colour or the wrong size. So I'm staying true to form. So again, I'm just going to roll, and I'm making these ones down here slightly bigger than the ones up there. And then just attaching it. It really doesn't look so great on the camera, but there, if I bring this in a little bit,
Sam,
you can see that. And once you've got your sort of lavender sort of pieces, then we're going to work on a stem. So I've got quite a bit of excess here. I'm just going to cut that off, bring that sort of down into a point whilst I make a mental note. I thought this would look lovely on the tartan tweed, and you can't see it. Oh well. You can check out the lavender YouTube. The lavender tutorial is on our YouTube, and you can also, using the same technique, make these lovely things, which are English lavenders. So the tutorial page for the lovely lavender, you also can see the tutorial for making a 3D version. And there's lots of things on the show that you can use for other makes. The snowdrops. Where are the snowdrops? The snowdrops that are over here actually make these large daisies as well. So templates are not just necessarily for one thing. There's a few ladies, I believe, in either of the chats that are sort of fluff friends, fiber fanatics as we call them, and they can attest that these templates are very, very versatile. Okay, so I've added some green just at the bottom, which still looks you can't see it. Let me pop you on the closer camera. Popped a little bit of green down the bottom. And then finally, I'm going to pop my stem on. Now, obviously, the more you felt, the firmer this all gets, the more refined a shape you get. But one of the things that I do get asked quite a bit is how to get some real sharp detail lines. And to do that, you get yourself a piece of fiber and roll it in between your fingers. And it doesn't matter if some of it comes off, it's absolutely fine. Just roll it. And you see, by putting in that twist, you create a really nice sharp line. So what I'm going to do is anchor that sharp line right in the bottom of where my stem would start. And then as I felt, I'm going to twist it like this. And you see how that gives you a really nice line. Decide where you want your stem to go. And then use that driving technique again. So I'm going through and I'm probably going about halfway into my mat. There are barbs on this needle all the way up to here, but just because they're all the way up there doesn't mean you need to use all of the needle. In fact, the only time I really use all of the needle is in 3D sculpting. And chop that off, and there you've got your sort of little stem. I'd spend a little bit longer just sort of shaping the calyx, of this, but we are pressed, I believe, pressed a little for time. I'm desperately trying to make sure I fit in my little window. I'm frantically felting. So that's a very, very quick way that you can just add a little motif or something to a fabric or a woolen jacket. Wool fabric works perfectly with this. You know, there's such an array of colors, and you know, we've got a little sort of a buttonhole type arrangement, and this is made with the cherry blossom, a rose, and just some freehand sort of buds. There's so much that you can do with the world of felting that I would probably need a 3-hour show just to go through everything. But any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat and I will do my best to answer them.
I've brought everybody back together. Sam, I was desperately trying to talk to you while you were doing your demos, but I don't know if you could hear me at all. Couple of things. There are people asking how do they use the code, and I do apologise. In trying to sort out the echoes, I accidentally muted you for about 30 seconds. So I apologise for that, but we have sorted the echo. Way! So yes, how do they use the code and the link, Sam? Can you hear me? I don't think she can hear me. Okay, I will show you. So to use that code and that link, there's a little code in the top right hand corner of Sam's screen there. If you hold your phone over that, it will take you directly to Sam's website, or you go to mumsmakery.co.uk and that will take you there as well. Sam, can you hear me? I'm not convinced you can hear me.
Oh,
Sam.
now I can hear you.
Oh, how odd. I didn't mute me, I muted everybody else. Anyway, Right. So thank you for that. I did have a couple of questions for you. One was how to use the link. And I did have to apologise to you because I'd accidentally muted you trying to sort out the echo. But I think
I can't actually understand anything that you're saying. It sounds like I can't hear you. I can hear you through somebody's speaker, but you're very, very quiet. I can't actually hear you.
I shall work on that. I shall work on that next. So let me have a look. Who have we got? We've got Lorainne and Jeff next.
Hello.
Oh, there's a little wave. Lovely. Seeing as I'm still trying to sort this sound out, I'm going to go straight to you guys and then see if I can get this sorted.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you want to tell me about all your little friends that you've got there?
We've got lots of little friends, haven't we?
Yeah, lots of little friends. And we need to do a big shout out to our toy maker today. Her name is Sandy. Jeff calls her
Affectionately known as Sandy Bottom.
Yeah, but why? Because you call her Sandy down below, and then it turned to Sandy Bottom and Sandy Bots. But she does now call herself Bots, and all our lovely customers know. So if Bots is on, hi Bots.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the Funky Friends factory toys, are we?
Yes,
first.
we are.
So we've got about 7 or 8 different toys that we're going to look at first of all, and then we'll get into a couple little tips and techniques. We've kind of come into this a little bit late, so we're not as prepared as we might have otherwise been, and we don't have the sophisticated cameras that we can switch around, so we're a little bit manual at the minute. So bear with us with that, but we'll talk about the toys, shall we?
Yeah, let's.
So we are, I think, I would guess, the biggest stockist of Funky Friends factory toy patterns in the UK. We met Pauline, who's the designer, how many years ago? 10 years?
Ooh,
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
When we went to Houston to a trade show, we saw the patterns, we saw the samples, and we fell in love with it.
Yeah, we did.
So we brought it back then, so 9 years ago, and since then it's grown and grown and grown to the state where now we actually supply other shops. We wholesale them as well to other shops. So we've got a local shop that you might think will benefit from stocking these. Pass our details on. So we're going to look at a few individual ones, and then we'll talk about the techniques, yeah?
Yeah, if anyone's got any questions, feel free to put them into the comments, because I can always go back on and answer those if they are specific to us. And then the other thing is, obviously, all the toy patterns will be available on our website, and I think you just scan on the QR code. I can't see any questions coming up at the minute, Hayley. I'm assuming that
we're a little bit delayed as well, so okay. So we'll just crack on. So first of all, I'm going to introduce you to Melody, the memory bear. This is probably the most popular one that we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm going to grab Melody. So you can see from the samples that we've got how big they are. Really, they're a decent size, aren't they? We might catch up right in the camera, make sure I'm pointing it at the right direction. Well, excuse Lorainne, is going to pass the front. So she's going to be the cameraman for a little while.
Lady, sorry,
camera lady. So this is Melody the memory bear, one of the most popular ones because it's a memory bear. I think, Lorainne, yeah, would you suggest? So this one's 12 inches. A lot of them seem to be 12 inches, so you can see the kind of size when it's the side of me. So a nice size. And none of them are really that difficult to make, do you think?
No, I mean, obviously, the whole point of the memory bear, Jeff, is that people do use them with clothing, don't they?
Absolutely.
So babies, if people have passed, and people have actually made a living out of making the memory bears. Pauline does have a age old policy on that. As long as you say that your bears are made, or any of your toys are made using her patterns, then she's more than happy. So if you do craft fairs, etc., then they're brilliant for that as well.
And we'll talk about, when we look at the techniques, more about the pattern pieces themselves. But they're a fully printed, full-size pattern piece in there, and really good instructions. I'll show you the step-by-step photographs if I remember to bring the iPad down. Which
yes.
It's upstairs. So I'll show you that anyway, but there's a step-by-step tutorial. So they're really good. So this is Melody the memory bear, one of the most popular ones that we do. Next very topical, I suppose, at this time of year is the Valentine's Love Monster. Can you kind of flash the Love Monster?
Ooh, I can flash my love monsters. Sorry, but if you don't know us, Jeff is always really naughty. So please be prepared for Jeff's naughtiness.
So these are the Valentine's Love Monsters, and brilliant for, I don't know if you want to give them
Oh,
to
Mrs. Bots is here, it says,
Mrs.
Jeff.
Bots on.
Yeah, Mrs. Bots is
Hello,
on.
Sandy Bots. Sandy Bots, toy maker extraordinary.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Sandy made these, did she?
Yes, she did.
Yeah, Sandy made these ones. So these are the Valentine's Love Monsters. So again, this time of year, obviously coming up to Valentine's Day, you might want to make someone that you love.
Yeah.
A friend or something like that, a little Valentine's Love Monster. It comes with those heart-shaped motifs. I think it comes with suggestions to put the names in. So
Yeah.
sorry, the little text in there, bite me, and
I think
I
what
love
Sandy
you.
did on those, Jeff, is she showed 3 different ways of writing in the heart.
right.
So one is done with a pen, one is done on her normal machine, I think, and then I know the third one she did on her embroidery machine. So if you've got one of those all singing, all dancing embroidery machines, then they're a fabulous way of utilising your lovely embroidery machine.
So you could put anything you like in there. I suppose you can put names, etc. The next one we looked at a little bit earlier on is Dynamite the Donkey, and we've got Sandy's one there in cotton, Lorainne, if you can ask me that. So we've made, I made it in this kind of curly boucle type fabric, but it can be done in ordinary cotton, and you can make them personal again, can't you?
And then don't forget, we do actually sell the donkey in a kit. So when we do all the shows, we go around the country. In fact, we're at Ardingly next week. If anybody is from that area, we will be at that show. So we do sell the donkey kit as well. And I've just hopefully managed to get more of the dark grey furry stuff to make him in. And
furry stuff.
And people might have noticed that he has got some beautiful little bit of liberty for his nose
little
and
nose and ears. And then he's got that felt on his feet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think Dynamite's a little cuddly. I'm kicking the cat out and sticking to the donkey.
Yes.
Then we've got one of the newer patterns, Kip. So this is a little, again, Sandy made these, and she's adorned them with little bejeweled collars, and Kip's got a little bone there. Look,
Yeah, be careful on the bejeweled item, Jeffrey.
It's not a bedazzle.
You know what? It's not a bedazzle. You know what our customers are like? They'll be leading you down the garden path.
Kip is one of the newer ones, isn't it?
Yeah.
So people kept asking for a keepsake dog. So Pauline, who's a designer, like I said earlier, we met her a few times now, but she's South African but lives in Australia. She came up with this as the latest model, Kip, and Kip's little sister. Obviously, you can make them in different colours, and they're amazing how different they look.
Yeah, I have seen them made in baby girls as well. So I think what's quite nice about Kip is when you see them made in clothing. So jersey, she gives really good instructions as well on how to interface any jersey or fabric that isn't a cotton. So she gives really good instructions on how to do that as well. There's a couple of people on, Jeff, saying hello. So Nikki Coupland, Geraldine Starbuck.
Hello, Nikki.
Yeah, Pauline Shaw, Vanessa Eels, Julian Adams. And then Shirley Coxon says she's done lots of Melody Memory Bears for family, and she loves using her patterns because they're so easy to follow. Today, she's doing Harmony.
There you go. So this we've nicknamed Donald and Boris for obvious reasons. So Boris has got his little quiff going off there. So these, again, we've made in like a tartan type. It's not canvas, is it? What would you call that, Lorainne? Like a canvas.
It's a wool, obviously, like a faux. Oh, sorry, this. Yeah, it's like a faux wool, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not a wool, but it does look like a wool. And he's always been a popular one, hasn't he?
These are probably, again, one of the most popular ones.
Cute.
Everybody that sees these when we do the shows, and we do lots of the shows up and down the country. In fact, we're in Ardingly in East Sussex this coming week. If anybody's down there, come and see us. And these people see these and they make a beeline for them because they are so just super cute. You can put little heavier material in the bottom, like a doorstop or something like that, can't you?
Carol Bennett saying good afternoon. I'm sorry, everybody, I'm not in shot. I'm just kind of here at the side with my nose.
Lorainne's the camera lady.
Camera lady. And Sue Fry, Heidi Hyde's on as well. And Carol Bennett says good afternoon to you both.
Hello, Carol. So another popular one, and becoming more so as we get into showing these more and more. This is Ben the Beginner Bear. So this is they're all fairly easy. Some of the more curvy ones, intricate ones are a bit more. You'd have to take a bit more time with it. The wolf, for instance, or the wolf in the pattern in the set. That's a bit more intricate. But Ben the Beginner Bear is a beginner for a reason. He's got bigger parts. He's got a one-piece tummy. That means you can embroider on there, or you can put little motifs. If you've got one of those lovely printers that'll print on the the fabric, what's that interfacing that you can print on for a fabric and
for printing.
Yeah, so you can put somebody's face on that. You can embroider initials or anything on the feet. So that's Ben the Beginner Bear. Really nice and easy. I've done 2 of them.
So someone, Sarah writes and asking, do the Highland cows come as kits, please? Yes, they do. We don't often get them on the website because they literally do sell out at every show we do. But Sarah, if you drop us an email, I can tell you the kits are normally £28. And if anybody's interested in buying the whole kit, please drop me an email before we go to adding live, and we'll make sure that we pop them on one side for you.
So in this mini session, we're just going to look at the toys. We do have some bags coming up in our next session.
But we're going to do toys for now.
We're going to do toys. So I'm going to just now, we've introduced the patterns that we've got available today, but there's over 100 in the range that we supply. You come near me. I'm going to go behind the camera, and then I can flash things.
Oh, stop it!
So I'm going to go behind the camera and do a bit of flashes.
Knows what you're like.
They'll soon find out what I'm like. Oh, I can't see myself in the camera.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is show you some of the tools and tips and tricks. So these are what the pattern pieces look like when you get them out of the pattern. Now, what Pauline recommends is that you photocopy them, copy them onto some stiff cardboard or even template plastic, just to give it some longevity. You might want to cut hundreds of these, so you want to make them last. This one, I've just took my pattern that I've bought and I've photocopied it. Are you asking me something?
No, just...
I was going to ask you something, Jeff.
Oh, the director's telling me to do something.
Excellent.
So I'm gonna just kind of try and tilt my camera now. I don't know. Haley's smiling. I can see. She's smiling at you directing me. I don't know if right. You can tell me if that's in shot now, Lorainne or Haley.
We have got a slight little delay on our.
Are we in shot, Haley? There.
Are we in shot, Haley?
Yes, right.
Yes, right.
So the other little tool that I like to use, and you'll use your own techniques, you might want to use a scalpel if you're using that, but I use this little 28mm rotary cutter to cut these shapes out because I find it's a lot easier. So what you're going to do is take your pattern pieces, like we said earlier, the full size.
For you.
Oh,
go on, yeah.
Go on then, Haley.
Yeah, sorry about this. I've still been trying to sort echoes out. So
It's fine.
I've been a busy lady. So there's people asking, can you shrink and enlarge the patterns too?
Yes,
absolutely, you can. Yes,
yeah. And we've actually seen a giant giraffe.
Yeah, somebody made like a life-size giraffe.
And do you have any of the Highland cow kits left?
Yes, we do. So I've replied to, is it Sarah writes?
Yes.
So yeah, she's going to drop me an email, and anybody else can either message us on our Facebook page, and we'll respond to questions on there as well.
We've not put them in the kind of secret sewing folder, if you like, but they are available.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's fine. Once you're kind of at a stopping point, I will show everybody where that secret sewing folder is on your website, so people can go directly there to find the bits.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So there I've just cut around, and you can see, hopefully you were watching that as we were chatting, you can see how easy that is to just cut around using a 28mm rotary cutter. What you're going to do now, this is one of my favourite sayings, you need to use an abundance of pins. Because sometimes when you're doing these shapes and you're going to pin them together to try and form a 3D shape, you look at the two shapes that you want to put together and you think they're never, ever going to go together. They're like the opposites. In fact, the muzzle on Ben the Beginner Bear, this muzzle, this curved part here, when you're putting them two parts together, they're kind of opposite curves. So when you look at it at the first, you think that's not right. It's never going to work. But it's not until you start pinning it together, all your pins, that it starts to form that 3D shape. So an abundance of pins. The other top tip is all of these markings that you see on the pattern piece, and the little eye position, and these little dots and little line markings, you need to try and mark them onto your fabric if you can. Now, if you've got an awkward fabric, or you don't have a pen that will mark onto there easily, you can just use something like a masking tape, like that, and just put a little piece of masking tape where it needs to be and mark onto the masking tape. I found that helps if you can't mark directly onto the fabric easily. The reason why you're doing this is when you're going to start to sew all of these together, you're going to sew generally to A to A, B to B. So it's going to help you out a lot when you come to put these. Yes, Hayley's waving at me.
Yeah, shut up, Jeff.
I can't hear you a little bit. Yeah. All right, that's all right. Wave at other people.
Will you give us a 5-minute warning when you need us to shut up?
Yeah, because I waffle on a bit.
Absolutely, I will. Absolutely, no problem.
What did I don't even know if I brought the fabric down.
Oh,
Lorainne, you start talking about
what?
about toys and patterns, and I'm going to go get the fabric that I'm supposed to be cutting out.
Right, this might be a good moment, Hayley, while he dashes upstairs, if you wanted to share the folder of where we've put some of the patterns on our website. So we have created a little folder, it's because we did have a one called that. The Secret Sewing Club folder is on our website. So I don't know if you want to maybe show where that is now, Hayley, while Jeff's done a dash upstairs for his fabric.
Yes, okay, just give me one
Did you get that? Maybe not.
I will switch that over.
So all of the patterns are on the website, and we are going to be offering free delivery for patterns today for anybody that's watching this live, because we do know the patterns are $12.99, or on our website they are 3 for $33. And we do know sometimes people, when they buy a pattern, they don't then want to have to pay £4 for the postage. So what did we decide about the free postage, Jeff?
We're going to give free postage on for anybody that orders today via Secret Sewers. Are you waving at me, Hayley, again?
Yes. Lorainne asked me to go and show you your website, but then she didn't stop to let me do that.
Yeah, she didn't stop. She didn't stop to let me.
Give me 1 second. I will show you where the website is. So this is the Oh So Sweet Shop website. You can see it here, and if you just hang on for a second, you'll either see the Secret Sewing Club scroll round on here, or there's a little section, just here, which you can click. That will take you to all of the products that they've got on the show today. There's the Dynamite Donkey and the Highland Cow and all of its little friends, but you'll see all of the patterns on there. So let me just switch it back to those guys, and I will stop frantically waving at you. And now with your fabric, you can cut things out, Jeff.
There, I've got my fabric, and I'll just show you this actually. So I mentioned that there's a photographic tutorial, if you like, that you can follow with whilst you're sewing along. So I have it on either my phone or my iPad.
Just take your iPad, Jeff, because we've got a bit of a glare. That's it.
Have we got a bit?
Stop.
Is that better?
Yes.
So on there, it goes through step by step how you start it, how you sew it together, each little step. Really helpful. And if there's some even more trickier bits to it, there's even a little extra explanation how to do it. Talks about things like if you're using what they call them, not tucks,
Pleats?
not a pleat. I can't remember. Dressmaking, it's a dart. That's it.
No
That's
problem.
it.
Carry on.
A dart. So even you're using dart. So it kind of does some of the techniques you might have been used to using on dressmaking, things like that. You'll use them in the toy making as well. So it's really helpful. So I'd highly recommend you have that sat at the side of you when you're doing your sewing. Now, is that? I think that should be in the shot. Is it the fabric? So I'm just going to pin this to my fabric now, just with a couple of pins, just so it keeps it in position whilst I cut this out. And because you're using a reasonable seam allowance, yeah, you've got to try and be accurate, but you've not got to be that accurate that it's going to take an hour to cut each piece out. And also, if there is an arrow on it like that, that's for if you're using directional fabric. So that's telling you to keep all of the items in the correct direction. So I'm just going to cut this out around my pattern piece. Like we said earlier, you would have probably put this template onto a better piece of cardboard or onto a template plastic, something like that, just so you're not going to be ruining your template once you've cut it out. So there we go. We've got my little pattern piece, and we're going to sew these. This asks for 2 pieces. I'm not going to sew it together because I've not got my sewing machine set up, but that asks for 2 pieces to be done the opposite way. So we're just going to flip the pattern piece around, make sure we've got that arrow that you can just see through the back of there at the same, running in the same direction. And I'm just going to pin that back in. Hopefully you can still see that. We've not got these special cameras that everybody seems to have at the minute. We might be upgrading though, Lorainne?
We're behind the times, Jeff. We just come on and go for it, really, don't we? That's what we do.
We do. I mean, we have we do Facebook Live.
Yes, we do. We do
weekly.
We do a Facebook Live on a Wednesday called What's New Wednesday. So we do show new things, and then Saturday is all the fun because it's the fastest finger first on a Saturday. We're quite well known for this one. The only time we don't do them is when we're at shows. But if you pop onto our website, please like our Facebook page, and then you will get notifications of when we're doing lives.
So there's my 2 pieces of the face that's been cut out. So what we need to do on that is mark where those A, B's, and C's are. Put a little mark where the eye is going to go. And then you're going to put, and do that on both sides, obviously, because you've got 2 parts to the face. And then we're going to pin these together, if I can get the right orientation. This is where, if I'd have marked them already, I would have known what orientation to do it. I think it's that way.
Yes.
And then on the instructions, it will tell you where you need to sew now. So if I just scroll back to the face piece, it tells us we're going to sew the face pieces together along the front from A to B. So again, I would have marked A to B onto there, which is that way. And you're going to sew down there. So we would have pinned this in position. And when I say an abundance of pins, this is not too bad because it's a flat piece and it's not too curvy. But you might want to use on this kind of half a dozen pins just to make sure it's going to keep in position. The more it's easier when it's not slipping and sliding around. These fabrics are pretty forgiving. They're not too bad, so you probably get away with 3 or 4 pins in fairness. And then you'd stitch, I think it suggests that you can either use a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance or a 1/4 inch seam allowance if you're used to patchworking. If you're using a 1/4 inch, your animal will just be slightly smaller, obviously. And you would stitch down that edge. And obviously right sides together all the time. And then you do all the pattern pieces, and then you start to form the shape of the item you're making. This one, I didn't show you this one. We've not got this, we're not selling this one as such, but this is one I'm going to start making soon. It is on our website if you wanted to find it, but this is Egghead the Easter Chick. Now I think, don't tell anybody, but I think I might put a zip in its head there. Kind of make its head so you can put an Easter egg in. So I'm going to see if I can do that. I'm not. Anybody that's
quite brutal.
Say that again. It's right. Yeah, it does.
That's
doesn't it? Yeah.
Quite brutal, Jeff.
A chicken with a hinged egg.
Frankenstein.
But
Frankenchick.
we always
Frankenchick.
We always say we've done this a few times, obviously on some of the shopping channels, and I don't know how it ended up that the person that doesn't sew does all the demos of sewing, i.e. me. But we always say is that I don't sew, and if I can make it, then absolutely anybody can. And like I said, I made the donkey, I've made Ben the bear, I've made quite a few different ones. Hopefully, I'll be able to show you that Easter chick when we get it done.
Right, so I think Is that enough for the first session from us?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go and grab everybody else. Oh, it's me. I was like, somebody's missing. Where have they gone? And it's me.
Fine.
Press my buttons. Let's get
Don't
this
know yet.
up and running. Oh, there we go. Back in the room. There we go.
Really?
There's so many buttons. That's the problem. Right, let me get these guys back. Katrina, could you just talk for me?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
Keep
still
talking.
think we've got the slight echo on you, but I am still working on that. That is fine. Sam.
Okay.
Sam, you've muted yourself.
We need to stand back a bit.
There you go. I think you're back. No? Maybe? Oh, we've got no sound on Sam. Oh my gosh. It's going to be one of them days today, isn't it? It's going to be one of them days. Excellent. Right. She's gone. Okay, I think she's gone to try and reset her microphone, so that is fine. In which case, Katrina will come. We're not getting a lot of chat in today because we're having some technical issues, but we're going to be fine. Do we need to wait till the end of the programme? Can't find anything on the Mum's Makery site. I will have a look into that for you, and I will come back to you on that while Sam is just sorting her... Oh, there she is. Are you back? Oh, yeah. No, can't hear you. Hang on, I'm going to try some stuff on my end. While I try that,
Okay.
I will pass it back over to Katrina if you're ready to do your next demo.
It's that career then, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, some sound problems today. Katrina, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. I'm just going to sort out Sam's mic. Are you all right to do your next demonstration?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I can carry on, yeah.
All right. It's all yours.
Yeah, I've got my design here. So this design is called Spring Orchard. So I'm going to show you a little bit about this one. This is one of our newer designs. They're much larger than before. They're on the tweed background, and this one is created with all the organza placed onto the fabric first, and then the stitching done after. And so it acts a little bit like a stabilizer. But I tend to stitch this one, and I stitch it in a spring hoop. So I'd probably work at different areas on lots of texture, but I work it in my spring hoop. So I've got the design here. So the design is printed on the fabric. I've placed the organzas to create a little bit of colour in the background. So in the foreground, I've got shades of green and obviously a sky colour further down the design. But I'm just going to show you how easy it is to do this. The colours are on the organizer, and they're built up. We've got wools, we've got variegated threads, we've got some really nice knitting yarns from the Shetlands, and a really lovely colour combination. And I think it just helps you work through the instructions if you've got them on the organizer. It doesn't have to mean you keep them tidy or anything, just using the colours. So the first one I'm going to show you, I'm just going to, if you can see the fabric, I'm just going to start at part of the design. You'll be able to see through the organza, you'll be able to see the print. So I'm just going to start with a wool, and I'm going to take the stitch the full size of the print. So the print is just a guide for the sizes of the stitching. So it's really quite large stitching, and you're going to allow some of the threads to cross over each other and build up the grasses. So really it's almost like think messy stitching to start with, and you're just going to go over the print, and as you keep going over the print, then you can start to add in other colours and other textures just to build up the foreground. So the foreground is quite really heavily stitched, and you're just going to do straight stitches all over and work each length of the thread till it's a couple of centimeters before the end, and that's going to give you a really nice foreground. And then to fasten off on the back, this is it's quite easy to do. Just place the needle underneath a couple of the threads and wind it around a couple of times, just to give a little bit, stop that thread coming through to the other side. Okay, so once you've got one colour, then you're going to restart with another colour, and obviously in the step-by-step instructions it tells you exactly what to do, and there are sections with the stitches, and there are sections, you know, just showing you the step-by-step guide. And remember, you just need to work through the threads and just enjoy the colours. And obviously springtime, this one in the orchard has got lots of blues and yellows, quite a lot of daffodils there, crocuses, and gradually as you work that through, you won't see any of the background really, you'll just see the stitching and the texture that you've created. So I'm using a chenille needle, so that's one that has a large eye and a sharp point, easy to thread, especially if you're using knitting yarns that are a little bit more textured, and you're just going to work those stitches over there. So that's the same stitches that you would use on lots of our designs. They start this way. Meadow jewels and seaside treasures, but anything that is a landscape, straight stitches, the way, whether it's vertical, horizontal or diagonal. So you've got a little bit of texture there, easy to create. And then I'm just going to show you the next stitch. So these little flowers in the distance, little crocuses, they're worked over the ellipse shapes, and I'm just going to take the thread. So this is a lazy daisy stitch, so it's quite easy to do. So you bring the needle from the front to the back, from the back to the front, and then you're going to take the needle into the same place and just bring the needle back onto the surface and just tilt the needle slightly above the fabric, and then place the thread under the needle. And as you pull that thread, then you'll get sort of a first part of the chain, if you like, and then the thread just go over the loop, and that's just going to hold that in place. So I'm just going to add those. I think you could, I would have called them detached chain, but my mum always called them lazy daisy. So you just work those threads through, and this is a wool thread. I've got it double in the needle, and it's an Appleton's wool, so it's a really nice colour, really nice texture to work with. And you're just going to take a few and complete those, that little over the ellipse shapes. And you'll see on a piece like this, it's quite large, so the finishing off of, you know, how much you stitch depends on how you're going to frame your piece. And then I'll just show you on my piece. So on my design, the area that we're concentrating on is this area, and here in the foreground here. So you can see it's quite heavily stitched. You'll see lots of beads and sequins added in there, but the idea is that you can see these the daffodils and then the crocuses in amongst all the texture. And then obviously I've got some little bees, and then as you work towards the distance, we've got some long-legged French knots, and then the floral orchard there. So you can see really I've stretched mine, the design over a board, so it's just really over an art board, you know, like a canvas, but you can frame your work however you wish, complete the whole design. And then sometimes I think it's a good idea just to pin it up somewhere and admire it, and just look at the colours, see if you want to stitch anymore, but just really enjoy the process of the stitching and adding all the texture. So the last part is adding the flowers and the beads at the end of the design. So that one it's a lovely design to do. It's on a large piece of fabric, so that if you want to, you can extend that design and you can fill the whole of that fabric. You'll have loads of threads left to do that. So I'm going to change onto the another design.
Katrina, I've got a question about the hoops. Could you possibly?
So this one again is on the feature page on the website. This one is called the Poppy Field. It's a lovely design, and it's got that bright red there. So when your kit comes, it'll come with all the colours, all the instructions, and all the fabrics that you're going to need. And obviously, the background fabric is printed, and it's on a cotton fabric, which is lovely to stitch on, and gives really good results. So I'm just going to take my threads. So this is the one that I've already started a little bit. So I'm going to really stitch the same, stitch the distance here, and you get step-by-step instructions in the instructions. And I think actually part of this one is in, if you have the book Hand Stitched Landscapes, I think you'll find that this part of the design is in the book. So it's, if you want to have a look at that, just have a look. I'm going to take one of the colours here. So this is a stranded cotton, and I'm just going to thread that through the needle, and I'm just going to do a couple of French knots. Excuse me. And then you're just going to take and mix the colours together. So it's another way of creating texture. So this time I'm just going to go around once and just take those through. And that's a nice sound, you can hear it going through the fabric. So as you, excuse me, go through your design, there are some beads and things to add in there, but there's also some satin fabric that's there, just so that you can make the 3D but copies. So I'll show you how to do those. So this is where you want to be. Don't be good at it, just cut a bad circle really. I'm just going to take the poppies, and then you can decide where you want to put these. And obviously in the picture there are lots and lots of poppies. The field where I got the design from was absolutely covered in poppies, really covered in. So I'll just show you here. So in the design you've got the design here, and you've got all the poppies, so you can put as many or as few as you want in your design. So the other part of the design is actually stitched on the organza. So complete the first one, and then when you're thinking about framing, this is a standard size frame. I think it's a 4-inch aperture. So you could obviously, there are loads of frames available to mount your embroidery, and then once you've got your embroidery on the mount, this bit is attached with just by some glue, PVA glue. So it starts like this. So I'm going to take, and then just really, I mean quickly, I'll just add a little bit of one of those just to show you. It's probably easier to do with a thin thread. So again, you're just going to secure that, and you'll see in a lot of our designs this technique of 3D poppies. I use that quite a lot, just to create a little bit of texture. So the embroidery is really, it's not flat, it's really quite textured, and that's what I really like about the fabrics and the satins and the organza. So you can, if you've not used the organzas before, it's a great way of creating colour, and it means you're not stitching the whole design, you're only stitching part of it. So I'm just going to take that out. So this is the other hoop, this is the 5-inch hoop. So I'm just going to take the organza, and again you're just going to release that into the spring hoop, and then I'm going to create some texture. So to do this, you use little pieces of organza that are in your kit and take the fabric that's on the bias, so that's like the stretchy part, and you're just going to cut on the bias, and then you're just going to be a bit mean to it, you know, just actually pull it and distort it a little bit. So you really need to sort of pull the fabric apart really. And then when you've got a couple of pieces on, they're going to be placed over the print. So you'll see quite a fine print printed on the fabric, and you'll be able to see that even when you put the organzas over the top. And you can have as many layers as you wish. So again, if you braid this fabric just on the straight grain and with the warp and the weft, it would come out like a straight fringe. So we really want it messy, so it's got to be on the bias. That's so the stretchy part when you pull the fabric. And then you take another little bit and you're just going to distort that, and you're going to build up a little bit of an area. Just pin those on, and you can have as much or as little fabric as you want. So I'm just going to pin those over, and then you can start to stitch. So once you've got the organza pinned in place, then you're just going to ignore the organza and just stitch over the top. So I just found a little bit of a colour to do that. And obviously in the instructions you can have a look at our YouTube site and see all the stitches and ways of using organza. Well, I know if you have the book, has quite a lot of information in there. Okay, so I'm just going to take it's better probably not with this one not to have a knot in the fabric, but you're just going to take the fabric and you're just going to take a little bit. You can always weave the threads in later, and you're just going to take a couple of stitches and you're just going to ignore the fact that it's on the organza and just build the design. And eventually, as you start to stitch, you won't see much of the organza, the white organza. So you stitch the whole motif first, and then once you've completed the motif, then you're going to cut it out, and that's going to be cut out and then either glued on there. It's probably easier to actually do that with you could either cut it with scissors or you could melt it out, but you can make that as decorative and as detailed as you want. And I think that just takes your eye into the poppies and then on into the distance. So really, really nice project to do, very easy to do. But I suppose, I think we did this really, really early on, where we've got a motif, a little bit that pulls off the edge and then takes your eye into the picture. I think that was what I had. I'm not sure what time I'm supposed to.
No, it's whatever suits you, Katrina. But if you're ready to come back, it's fine, because we're missing a Lorainne and a Jeff, but that's okay, because it's not them next. So it's Sam next. And Sam, I believe you are ready, and we need to actually mention your QR code, because you do have a special QR code. Just before we do that, though, I've just seen there's another question in.
You've got a massive echo again.
I think it's this young lady here, but that is fine. What I'll do is Katrina. I've got one more lady. She says she's learnt, Laura Harris, she's learnt so much from Rowandean's YouTube videos. Everybody should give embroidery a go. Great for mindfulness.
Oh,
so there you go. Lovely comment for you. Now I will go back to Sam. And Sam, we made a little bit of a mistake with your QR code, didn't we? So
that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pop that QR code directly into both the chats, which I'm going to...
The way that the QR code works is, if you've got your phone, then you can use that to put your camera app on, hold it up against the QR code and it will pop up with a website.
Yes.
It was originally linked to your general website, is now linked to specifically your Secret Sewing Club bit.
Because I thought I would try and be clever. It never goes well for me when I try to think that I'm going to be clever. So the QR code, and I have just put the actual direct links into chat as well, will take you to a very special collection on the website. Now, the products that you see behind me, the All Sorts, the Foxglove, the Snowdrops, and there are a few others, the Iris, they are only available through that link. So if you just go to my website and type in Iris, you won't find anything. So we were trying to be clever with the whole Secret Sewing Club, and the link would be a secret, because these projects don't actually launch on my website until the 1st of February. So I thought that it would be a nice idea to bring it to... Yes. They all are, technically. I think there may be one that isn't. The Snowdrop and the lovely Lavender may be on my site in a different version, but for this show we've got exclusives. They are actually a quick kit which involve a foam and a needle.
We maybe should have led with that one. Never mind. I shall leave you to demo. I will pop in with any questions just to help you out.
Yeah, I can hear you now, so that's all bonus.
Yeah. We've had some terrible sound issues today. But
it builds character.
Well, it's getting on with multiple people in one place, you see. If it's just one person you're dealing with one set of issues. When you've got three, it's three.
I am usually an issue in myself. So when we do the lives, I do a lot of lives on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/mumsmakery. So after the show, please do go over that. We've got lots of tutorials that you can watch, lots of demos and all kind. And we do live shows as well. We are launching our Spring Fair event bag on the 1st of February, and then the Spring Fair event is held the first weekend in March. So, but all of the details can be found on the Mums Makery website. I just click the calendar, and all I can say is brace yourself for the dates, because I usually get them wrong. And all my lovely ladies message me and email me and text me and just go, "Did you mean this date?" I'm like, "Oh heck, no." So I am terrible with dates. But so in part one, or in my first demo, I did show you really badly on this, because it doesn't really show up, how to do this sort of freehand little lavender. But in this part, in this demo, what I would like to do is actually introduce you to what I am really known for, which are the templates. Now, don't misunderstand the templates. A lot of questions I get asked, or the question I get asked a lot is, can I use a cookie cutter? And the simple answer is yes. Yes, you can. You can absolutely use a cookie cutter. But if you're just going to use a very basic shape, like a square or a star or a circle, a cookie cutter is absolutely fine. One thing is you won't generally find very many cookie cutters that look like something like this. And also, cookie cutters are designed for cookie dough. So taking my sugar crafting background and my love of needle felting and mushing them both together, what I have come up with are templates that are designed specifically for needle felting. So you will get the best possible shape straight out of the template. The example I like to use for this is holly. If you felt holly inside a cookie cutter, when you take it out, you will have to spend an awful lot of time refining that shape, because you will end up with more of a holly blob than an actual crisp leaf. The holly templates that we sell will get you a very nice crisp holly shape pretty much straight out of the template. So that's why these things are designed. Now, you can use them for other crafts. We have a basic birdie, and we've made a lot of fabric birdies using that template as well. So there are lots and lots of ways that you can use these templates. You can use them with paper as well. You can draw around the insides. Lots and lots of ways that you can use them. So in this demo, what I would like to do is introduce you to one of the templates. So this is our cherry blossom template, and I did go ahead and sort of start to fill this, because the one thing I do is always run out of time. So I mentioned before that the way that these templates work is something like a pocket scale, which can weigh out very, very minute pieces of wool. So this is 0.5 of a gram, so half a gram of wool. And that's what's required to fill this template. So you would take your 0.5 and you would divide it up into 5 pieces of 0.1 of a gram, and you can weigh out, and this is where everything fails me, that's 0. Yeah, it's pretty much there we go, and it's over. So we have a lot of a lot of use for the pocket scale. It does mean you can weigh out very, very small amounts of wool, which a lot of the petal shapes and things can take down to 0.1 of a gram. So we weigh out 0.1 of a gram 5 times, and I've already added 3 in here, but I'm going to show you how to fill a template. And the templates do vary slightly. We do have tutorials, PDFs and videos on various elements and for each of the projects. So when you're joining multiple petals together, the key element is this middle, to make sure that every single one overlaps. I start by just stacking my fibres just into a little stack, a little pile. I fold it over, and when you fold it over, you can see you've got a rolled edge. See how nice and clean that edge is. Now, if I turn it up, you can see I've got a really nice, clean, rolled edge. And I've got an edge that follows that there. So I'm going to put that into there like that. Again, I'm working with a 40 spiral, so a really fine needle. If you give your fibres the best possible start, then it just helps taming the frizz. And to start with, all I'm going to do is just lay these fibres down in here and very lightly felt. I'm not even felting, I'm just joining the fibres together. But what I am making sure is that I bring some of that frizz into the middle and overlay, because that's what's going to hold all of these fibres together. And I'm going to get another bit. I'm going to stack my fibres. I'm going to give myself that rolled edge. I'm going to turn my template. Normally when you're laying fibres down, you would turn your mat, but given my camera positions and things, I'm going to do it this way. So I'm giving myself that rolled edge and put that rolled edge into that rounded edge of the template. And all that means is that those fibres are already going around and not just sticking out. So lots and lots of very light little stabs, again felting to my mat, not through my mat. And if you're working on a different surface, for a long time I worked on foam, and in fact my first felting surface was a 35p car sponge from Wilko. And it did the job. It got me started. The foam that has disappeared now that you get in the quick starter kits is a dense, so it's quite nice, and it's about 2 inches thick, so you've got a lot of sort of foam to work with. As a beginner, you'll tend to find that you may be a little heavy-handed, so you need a good sort of thick foam to start yourself on, or you will end up hitting your table or your leg, which I have done. So all you want to do is just start by laying out your fibres, and you can see that these are all, I've got a nice even felt. I'm just going to check make sure that they're all nice and about the same. That one's a little bit thin, but that's fine. And I'm just going to very, very lightly felt. Now, with a template, and there are various sizes of templates for the different projects. The Foxglove, I think, has 8 or 10 templates in it, and they're a little more open, and there's, you know, techniques to roll the felt and join it together so you create that beautiful sort of flute. But this one, the Cherry Blossom, I have to admit, is one of my favorites. I've basically felted it so that it's all holding together. I'm going to flip it over and felt the other side. There are things like multi-handles and my clattering tool, which is a punch tool, which have multiple needles in. And they do make things quicker in certain circumstances. With something like this, I would say a single needle is all you really need. And don't be tempted to use a higher gauge needle, or a fatter needle, or a thicker needle. This is a 40 spiral. This is what I generally use. If I could only pick one needle, it would be this needle, because you can lay down your fibers, you can felt your fibers, and you can finish and do, you know, polishing your fibers with this one needle. Now that's great for something like this where you want something that is very thin. When you're doing a sculpture, for example, I will just grab my little guy over here that I forgot to take off the shelf, but woo. So this is my little frost gremlin, which is I have a members club on my website, and this is this quarter's project. When you're doing something like this and you're doing a lot of core work, then you want something that's a little more sturdy, that's, you know, going to be a bit faster felting. And let me pop him there a second. So I would go to a 36 star or something like that. But when you're dealing with delicate petals, then you really want to stick with the 38s and the 40s. And all the felting needles do the same thing. They will all felt. The size and the shape of the needle. Spirals, generally, I find you can get in and out of any project at any point. I don't think I have ever felted so firm that I couldn't use a spiral needle. So what I have done is just gone all over, and I'm just going to pop this out, and you can see this is very, very fluffy at the moment, but you can see what a great shape you've got straight out of the template. And it's that attention to the shape that has been designed to work with the fibers that means you're not going to be spending 10 minutes on a leaf after the fact, so that you've got it in roughly the right shape. And these, if you look after them, these will last you an absolute lifetime. We print these in-house. I 3D print them. I have a bank of 3D printers, and they're always buzzing away doing one thing or another. So it also means that I can control the quality. So now I have my sort of fluffy shape. What I want to do is add a little bit of colour, and I've got some hot pink here. Now you can add colour in so many different ways. As I showed you in the first show, the first demo, you can mix blend, or you can hand blend together, which is you take your fibers and you can mix them up, and you will end up with a choppy blend colour. You can go down the road of hand carding and things like that, and you know, it can be as involved as you want it to be, but hand blending is the quickest way to get a very nice choppy blend. But what I want to do is I want to add like a real pop of colour right on the corner. And or right on the edge rather. So it's always easier to add more. I'm going to take my needle and just felt a tiny little bit just on the end. And I'm going to do that. I'm not felting very hard, and I've still got a lot of this sort of frizz on the end. And then a little bit more on that one. You want fluffy and you want frizzy. And there are lots of techniques for needle felting. You know, the tutorials that come with the kits and with the projects will take you through step by step. Let's pop that on there. So again, I'm just adding a little pop of colour, but I'm not really felting it down, because what I'm going to do now, and this is the thing that I always do, a lot of these are actually kind of based on real petals, so they're not always completely symmetrical. So that's my orientation. I'm going to turn it all over, and I'm going to push these down into the template. And what that's going to do is, do you see how it brings the pink fibers up around the edge? So remember how we were saying that we folded our fibers, so we made them go around. Well, these are now coming up and over this way, so it helps keep a very nice, clean and crisp edge. So I'm going to pop those down in there like that, and then I'm going to bring those fibers over and very lightly felt them down in place here. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to pull, because if you pull your fibers, you're going to pull them out of shape of your template. So you want to bring them over, fluff them out, and just felt them down. Don't have a lot of pink on that one, so I might have to add a little bit more. You can always add more. Taking it away can be more tricky. So you can see I've just got my little pops of colour. I'm going to do a very quick pass with my multi-needle, and I don't generally recommend using multi-needles unless you're comfortable using them, and usually I wouldn't use them in such a small area, but I want to move this on for you. So I'm making a cherry blossom, which is obviously that classic kind of white and sort of pink. But you can also make apple blossoms with this as well, just by changing the colours. So there's lots and lots of different things that you can do. I am going to, just checking my time, I am going to declare this done. It's not done.
Don't worry about it, because we have got plenty of time, because we've not been doing as much chatting today because of the echoes. We've actually got time for a third demo if you want it.
I've never been so spotty. Usually, especially when I do my lives, I'm so rushed. I end up making the randomest things that don't look anything like what they're supposed to.
We just go till we get it done, and if we
that's okay. That's okay.
It's very relaxed.
So, okay.
So, if you're just about done for that step, if you want to kind of pause it there, we'll pop back together very briefly. We'll go and see Lorainne and Jeff.
Yes.
And then we'll come, because I think today, because let me just grab everybody. Katrina's stitching. There you go, Katrina's stitching.
Everybody's busy.
Everybody's very busy. But yeah, because we've got that slight problem with the audio today, and everybody on their own seems fine, but everybody together seems to have an echo. So rather than fight it, what we'll probably do is just go around for
Embrace the chaos.
third round of demonstrations. So I don't think anybody will be upset with that. Lorainne and Jeff,
We're here.
ready?
Are we on?
What you got now?
I've got some water diviners.
Oh, excellent.
No, this should be echo diviners.
Echo. If
I'm
only.
getting-
If only.
I'm in the front of the camera again.
Oh, you cameraman now?
Yes, I'm the
Right.
cameraman.
Are we back on now then, Hayley?
Yes, you're back on now, and as I mentioned earlier, because we've got the echo problems, we're not really getting a chance to cross over and chat today. So if you want a third demo, then you can find one when the other two are doing theirs.
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll talk about the bags next, and then in the third session, if anyone's got any questions on either of those, toys or bags,
Yep.
then we'll use that third session.
Because we don't have a demo as such,
No,
do we?
we do the third.
That is quite all right. I will try and feed you questions as they come in, though.
Yeah, okay.
All right, no problems.
So we also do Aunties too bags, and as you can see behind me, we've got quite a few bag samples because we do have lots of bag ladies. You're going to have to talk because my tooth's going to come out. I've got a loose crown and it keeps falling out. And now I'm conscious of it.
She's going to spit it out, not swallow it. They're expensive.
So we are going to show you some of the bags that we sell, which again, when we do all the shows, we do have a lot of samples. The other bags that we do, which I wanted to briefly show you, in fact, I'll show you those next, because these are very, very popular. So we also stock, and we're probably one of the biggest. There are a couple of other people who stock Annie products now, but I think it's fair to say that Jeff and I, 10 years ago, were the first people to bring the Annie products into the UK.
When you say Annie, it's
By
Annie.
Yes. So quite a lot of people like her bags. She's got 4 new patterns out at the moment, and these are all on the website. So we've got On The Go. We've also got 2 big totes. So if you're an Annie fan and you've not got her new patterns, I'm going to show you the 4 new ones.
2 big toes.
Totes, Jeffrey.
Oh.
Stop it. People don't know yet. Side Hustle, which is bum bag, or in America, fanny pack. And then Zip It Up. I wanted to show you as well a couple of easy projects if you've not done buy Annie bags before. So the first one I'm going to show you is the Stash and Dash. What's lovely about this one is once you've made a Stash and Dash by Annie, you can more or less tackle any of her projects. This one's brilliant because it goes through the mesh, it goes through the zip. It's even got the little bit of vinyl on the back, so it's a great pattern if you've never done a Buy Annie bag before. So it's a really good one to do, and they're all on the website.
And versatile. I know for a fact
Yes.
that you take that with you on holiday.
I do.
And you take it to the beach.
I do.
With your sun cream in.
Oh, I do.
And then on a night you put your lippy in.
If only, Jeffrey, if only that was in the near future for me, I'd be very happy. Stash and Dash is brilliant. And the other good thing is, if you notice on the front of Annie Patterns, she has a £5 video. The video is free. Inside is a single-use code for you. Once you've used that code, you can save that video in your files and you can keep going back and referring to it. And the reason why I'm showing you the eye cases one is because that has always been a super popular one. And these are beautiful. So you may recognise the fabric. It's been made up in Liberty fabric by our lovely Carol P, who actually is on holiday at the minute.
Is it what, in Tenerife or Lanzarote?
Yes. So this is brilliant. Again, if you're not, if you are a beginner, it's a wonderful pattern. You do get all 4 sizes: small, medium, large, and extra large. And look here.
So you can make them for Kindle,
Yes.
for little iPads, for bigger pads.
So, sorry, they're all kind of getting tingly-tangled up in my display. But just to show you, it's Arthur's Garden Liberty fabrics, but you can make them. Look, I've made this one in a, not me, Carol made that in a Moda fabric as well.
So inside of that, there's some foam stabiliser.
Yes,
Lorraine, tell us about it, Lorraine.
Yeah, but the foam stabiliser for Annie is soft and stable.
Is it?
Yes. Now, what I will say about Annie's patterns, a lot of people want to put Bosal in. Bosal is a bit more dense. This tooth is driving me crazy. So it's laughing at me.
Check it out.
No! So it is a bit more dense. So you are better with the soft and stable or Styleville. If you're doing smaller projects, and Styleville, Vitaline will work perfectly well. So
we do have some Bosal. We're going to show you in a while.
We are. So I just wanted to show you that we do stock the Bionic products. She's currently got a competition on, which is support your local quilt shop. You can go on her website and vote for the Buy Annie shops where you buy your stuff from. We have won the contest in the past, which was brilliant. I don't think we can be a grand prize winner again, apparently, which is really sad. But please vote for us if you want, because, as I said, we probably were the first people to bring Annie patterns in. We sell mesh. We sell zips, we sell fold-over elastic, we sell vinyl, we sell everything. One-stop shop for Buy Annie, oh so sweet.
We've got a couple of comments that I can see. We are a little bit delayed from the live feed, but Lizanette says, side hustle is fabulous. I am making one in leather.
Oh, you need to show us that.
And Debbie Bookers.
Oh, Bookers.
Sorry, anybody that doesn't know us, I kind of do make names up for people. Bookers says the iPad case was great for Christmas presents.
Yeah, brilliant. And then the other, you're going to have to talk now, so come round here, Mr. Jeff.
Oh, do we have to? They don't want to see me. I've got my gilet on now, and it's not the best one.
It's not your favourite gilet?
It's not my favourite gilet, no. So, Auntie's 2 patterns. So, I'm just going to take some of these samples off. This, again, like we said earlier, is becoming one of the more popular ones, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, this is called All Buttoned Up. And, again, in a similar vein to the Funky Friends, we are actually... the UK wholesaler for Auntie's 2 patterns. There's probably, I don't know what we said, 40 patterns in the range, something like that. So again, if anybody knows a local shop that wants to stock bag patterns, these are really good. So this one's all buttoned up, and as you can see, it has a little bit of a nickname, doesn't it, called tuxedo bag.
Yes, it does.
It looks a little bit like a tuxedo. In fact, somebody made it with like a black and white.
Yeah, they did.
Made it to look like a tuxedo. So that is a really popular one that's just coming out. This does have the Bosal in it, which we'll show you in a while. They have a tubing that goes through the handle to keep the structure. Obviously, the Bosal keeps the bag into shape, and it's really nice with all the pockets and the lining. That is a really popular bag.
It's really popular because we actually made it up in a canvas. So that one, if you look at the picture on the front, it's been made up in cotton, which is a cave facet fabric. And we didn't really sell many of these patterns until we made it in that wonderful fabric, which is called Bloom. And it actually is behind you, Jeff. It's a canvas.
I've got my Bloom out.
Oh, it's got his Bloom out. Look, I'm just laughing because we've had a Patricia Newton on.
Not Pat.
Hello from a very wet and windy Wigton. Pat always likes to give us a bit of a weather update.
She needs to keep off the beans. So that's the Bloom fabric, isn't it?
Yeah, that is on our website.
It's in the folder.
It's in the folder. It's art gallery fabric. And I've literally sold quite a lot of this. Every time people see this, they want it.
Because it's extra wide and it's in meters.
You only need a metre and a quarter.
You only need a metre and a quarter. So the pattern, I think, says a yard and a half or something like that, but a metre and a quarter will get you a pattern.
And how much are the patterns, Jeff? Are they all buttoned up?
Patterns are £10.50. So again, really good value. And Carol, who is the designer, she goes into some really nice detail. If there's a little tricky part, she has a little video that you can put on your iPad, and it tells you in a little bit more detail how to get past that little tricky part, if you like.
So if we do the patterns that are the 10.50 ones next.
Okay. So I'm just going to stretch and grab that. So this, again, is a very popular pattern. This is Camden bag, and this is made using the 2.5-inch wadding strips. 2.5 inch jelly roll fabric. So if you've got some jelly rolls that you're not sure what to use them on, or you've got some scraps of fabric and you want to cut some 2.5 inch strips out of it, really good for using that up. And what you do, you make the tubes, you take 2.5 inch strips, make them into tubes with the wadding encapsulated. We do sell a clover fabric tube maker, which maybe next time we'll show a demo of that. But that makes it helpful to do all these tubes, and then you zigzag these tubes together to form the bag. That's the same of the 20 strip toe. Where is that one?
It's that one. Here.
Where am I looking? Oh yeah. That's the same technique for the 20 strip toe. Now these are brilliant bags, and you can make them look your own. It's amazing how different they look. We've probably seen 100 of these made up from different customers.
Camden has always been a super popular bag, and again, all of these bag patterns are on our website. Do you want to just quickly talk about the free postage, because I didn't mention it?
So we did mention that we were going to offer free postage. There is a code that you'll need to put in, so apologies if we forgot to say that. So it's FREEDEL, FREEDEL, FREEDEL. All one word. So if you type that in when you place it on
Jeff, I'll make a thing to put on the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, that'll be brilliant.
Right, FREEDEL.
Okay.
And it's 10%. Sorry, it's not 10%. It's free delivery.
Free delivery.
£10.
Yes.
So if you spend over £10, and the patterns are £10.50. So if you're buying the pattern, you'll get free delivery. So those are Camden bags. Are you coming back in?
Yeah, I'm coming back.
Right, I'll get out of the way then. Sorry about the swapping in front of cameras.
I'm taking the offending tooth out, so don't laugh at me because now I've got a gap in my teeth. But I like to talk about the bags. Jeff's a toy man, I'm bag lady, so I do like to talk a lot about the bags. So we have a lot of By Aunties 2 patterns on our website. Again, if you know we're going to be at a show, please come and visit, because we do bring a lot of Aunties 2 samples and By Annie samples. We're probably one of the shows, people who actually do make the samples up and bring these samples for you to see, because as we've said with this one, when you make it up in a different fabric, it can totally change the way that it looks. So the others that are super popular.
Just before you move on to that, sorry, Sarah Wrightson loves the all buttoned up bag.
Yeah.
It's a very popular
one
bag.
of my best sellers.
Sandy Bottom says it's a bit wet and windy down here on the south coast.
Oh.
And Laura Harris says it's lovely here in Thailand.
Really? Well, it
all right. Dreading coming home to UK weather, but looking forward to getting back to my sewing. Yeah. And Susan Cliff, that would have been helpful earlier. I've already ordered. Susan, if you've already ordered, we'll refund you the postage.
Yes,
lovely, don't worry.
Jeff,
yes.
Is that case sensitive, that free
No, it doesn't.
code?
No, it doesn't matter whether you put it in capitals or lowercase.
Okay.
So another good bag done by Carol at Aunties 2 are now we've got Uptown, Downtown, Midtown. So Downtown is the smallest version of this. Midtown obviously is the middle version. Uptown is slightly smaller than this one on here. Today we're just going to show you the Midtown, because that does seem to be the most popular bag. The reason why these are popular, as you saw earlier on, Jeff had got the metal stays. So these are the metal stays that go through the top. A lot of people ask as well about how easy they are to put in, and they are really easy. Carol's instructions are brilliant, like Jeff said. She does loads of good little videos. You can go on here at the point where you might be struggling. She's got a little smiley face, and that means there's a video to show you how to do it. So you're literally just creating a channel to put those wires through. The other good thing about these is we do sell the wires separately. So once you've bought the pattern and you want to make more, then you can. So because they've got wires in, then they are slightly more than the other bags. So what's the price on the Midtown, Jeff?
£20.50p, I think it is.
So £20.50 on our website. And again, the product that we use in here on Aunties 2, she always talks about Bozo. And the good thing about the Bozo for this bag is we do use a double-sided fusible. So people often ask us about the different interfaces. And because we have done a lot of different bags, then obviously we can talk about it in quite a lot of detail. If you've got any questions about any of the bags, if you need any help, we are always open to that. We answer our emails, we answer our messages. Please just drop us a line, come to us at a show, and we're more than happy to help. So this product means the glue is on both sides, which when you look at how neat and tidy that looks with the lining, it's not a loose floppy lining, then that's why the Bosal double-sided is absolutely brilliant for the Aunties 2 bags.
And what makes that look really nice is that quilting, but it's just a straight line quilting. So how nice does that look? Even though it's just simple straight lines that you've quilted down there. Who made this one?
Carol. I love the Carol.
That Carol did. So yeah, that's dead easy to do, isn't it? Even I could do some of that. Might not be straight, but it could do it.
The other bag we were going to show you today was the mini poppins, but I can't find the sample for that one. I am in the process, though, of making another sample.
We have just moved business premises.
Yeah,
we've still got things in boxes.
So instead, I'm going to show you believe it or not, this one's called the Little Poppins. Again, the concept behind them is the fact that they all fold in like a little doctor's bag. The difference between Uptown, Midtown, Downtown, Little Poppins, Mini Poppins is the bottom. So it's got a firm bottom, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching. We all need to have a firm bottom. And again, Carol's bags are super easy. You're literally hand sewing this one on. I made this one for Crate and Craft. Dare I say that word? Sorry. But
don't worry, Lorainne, we're all over it now.
We're over it.
Yes,
we're
good.
Over it now.
Good. So we made this one, and the good thing about this one is I used a panel. So if you've got some panels kicking around and you're thinking, what can I do with it? Then the Mini Poppins, any of Carol's bags are brilliant for panels. She gives directions for how to use it if you've got a panel, how to use it if you've just got normal fabric. And I think that's brilliant, the fact that she does that. The Mini Poppins that I'm in the process of making, I'm using a little border fabric. So maybe next time we come on, I will be able to demo and show you how to use a fabric that is actually a border fabric. But her bags are super, super easy. In the base of this is a product called Craftex. Craftex is quite firm for your base. We sell it by the half yard. We don't sell the pre-cut pieces. They're quite expensive, so we like to give you the half yard, double-sided Peltex or Craftex, and that's what's in the bottom of that bag. You're going to mess about with toys again.
It's Harmony is liking that.
Yeah, good. And then the final bag, which everybody drools over this one, and it's quite heavy. So this one is called the Weekend Duffel Bag, and it is one of the new bags that Carol introduced, and it's huge. And believe it or not, this one is the smaller version. Now, we did have a lady who always comes, she's from Ireland, she always makes the bags at the shows, don't she, Jeff? So she made the bigger version, and she actually said, I could fit my 7-year-old grandson in that bag. I believe her. So this is the Weekend Duffel. Again, it's got a quilt inside.
It's huge.
Look how big that is. So it's really big. It's been made in the velvet, William Morris velvet. Again, the bags are really, don't be put off by it. Don't look at it and think, I can't do it.
You could easily fit a reasonable size sewing machine in that bag if you wanted to. Not obviously the big quilting machines, but, you know, a normal sized, decent sewing machine, you'd easily fit that in if you wanted it to be a sewing bag.
And I have to say, quickly though, Jeffrey, that one has been made by the lovely Jenny Janes. I mean, what a job she's done with that. It's absolutely stunning. It's by far one of the ones that everybody loves when we do.
There's a couple of questions or comments I can quickly tell you. Pat Newton says they are fantastic customer service. Would happily recommend if you've not ordered from Oh So Sweet. Anne N. Den Hembry, that's the right name. Mouthful. Anne N. Hembry. I've never made a bag, so which would you say would be the best to start with, Lorainne? They're all fab, by the way.
I think I would start with either Downtown, because that's quite a smaller bag, or the little mini poppins. If you want a firm bottom on your bag, then the little mini poppins. If not, the smaller version of this one. And the reason why is if you look at it underneath, so it's one big piece of bosal, and then you join in it at the side. So this one's pretty good. If you're a beginner to bags, I would try the downtown version of that one.
Yeah, just so people are aware, it goes downtown, midtown, uptown, same kind of style of bag, but different sizes.
Yeah, and again, we're always at the end of the phone or messenger. If you need any help, we'll do video calls with you as well.
David Bucknell says, made a mini poppins of this, and it's like a magic carpet bag, with loads of space in it.
Yeah.
And Jules Rob says, I have some of these patterns from Oh So Sweet, and they are fab to make.
Thank you, ladies. So
I must say, Jeff, you're doing my job for me. This is great.
No, sorry. It's because we
I'm used to doing it when we do our live.
He
was doing such a lovely job. I actually had time to run to the car and get my samples that I'd forgotten.
That's good.
That's brilliant. Yes, the Antis 2 bags, again, we are quite well known for the bag making. We do zips, we do the interfacing, we can guide you on the right interfacing. We do all the Bayani, as I said. And I think next time, maybe, Hayley, we might do a little tour of the room with all the Annie and Funky Friends patterns in. Because if you don't get a chance to go to a show and see us, if we show you how much we have of those products, you'll be amazed.
Absolutely. The Secret Sewing Club is kind of free to do what you want with. And I've put your delivery code up there on a strap on the bottom now.
Thank you very much.
Paula Eklund has said she's just ordered the Memory Bear using the code. So
yes, thank you.
The other one we forgot to mention is when you order 3, the website will automatically give you 3 for 33. So it makes the Funky Friends factory patterns are normally $12.99, so it makes them 11 each. So if you're buying 3, you will automatically get 3 for £33.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, next time you tell me, I'll put it on the thing.
I know.
You did me a big favour because there was a lady whose mum wasn't very well who was supposed to be on this weekend, and I just rang these 2 up and they were like, yeah, we'll come do it. Yeah,
so we are a bit flying by the seat of our pants, as people know.
That's just what we like. Anyway.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's more fun when there's a bit of pressure to it, isn't there?
Yeah, so if anybody that's watching now have got any questions about the bag making, then we're happy to take questions now, Hayley. We'll let you do that, not Jeff.
It's all right. I shall wait for them to come in. I'll probably catch you kind of next time round, but I shall go and grab everybody else.
Yeah, that's great.
Unfortunately, today, because we've got a weird echo that we can't get rid of, we're not getting to do a lot of the kind of back and forth chatting that we usually do. But we have substituted it with additional demos. Oh, hang on, I've got a question from Sarah. She says, how much double-sided bosal does she need for the 2 Aunties Midtown bag?
Right, so for the Midtown, you need a yard. So again, because it's American, they come in yards, not meters. So a yard would be 36 inches by 58 wide. So the double-sided bosal, as you can see on our piece here, is already folded for, so that is your 58. So a yard is enough. Sometimes what you find is when the designers are making the patterns, they will refer to the standard size, whether it's 18 inches or 36. And then more often than not, what we find, for example, with that one, you might not use all of the bosal, but then you can make other smaller projects with it as well. So bear that in mind.
We do always tend to give hints and tips if we think that sometimes they over-exaggerate it.
Yes.
I think on one of the bags, they've not used double layers.
Yeah.
So we made it using double layers. There's no need to use double layers of bosal on it. So we tell people that you don't need to go to what it tells you in the pattern. We can save you some money by telling you what you actually do need.
I think on our website, we do show the back of the pattern, don't we, Jeff?
Yes, we do, generally.
So if you're interested, for example, in the weekend duffel, it does show you at the back. Now, the weekend duffel is the one where you would only need 1 yard of soft and stable, not 2. So again, if you've got any questions, you can always ask her.
Perfect. Okie dokie. Right, so we've got about 45 minutes. So if everybody's got about a 10 to 15 minute demo, do you want to go around again?
Yeah, and we can come back.
We'll do more talking.
I'm going to set Christina away first because I'm going to keep us in the nice order that we had everybody. So, Christina, if you're ready. Yes, nod, nod, nod. There you go.
Yes.
Excellent. Unfortunately, I'm having to keep you a bit quiet at the minute because I think the echo's coming from you somewhere. But it's fine. We can chat, just 2 of us, but we can't chat everybody. That's fine. So what else have you got for us?
Yeah,
I have a
yeah,
couple
okay.
of people asking about
Well,
the hoops.
I've got another one to show.
Excellent. Okay, well, away you go. And I have got a couple of people asking about your hoops as well.
Okay. Well,
what are you doing for mum?
this design is part of a miniature range. It's called Heleniums and Salvia. So it's worked on a tweed or a woolen background. It's part of a miniature range. So if you're just starting to stitch, then that would be a good size to work to. So if you look at the design, it's got the outline on the fabric. It's got organza that you place over. So this time we just created the colour with organza. And then the stitching is very, very easy stitching, a little bit of stem stitch. We've got a little bit, a few French knots, and then a little bit of beadwork with the sequins. So it's quite a nice project to do. And obviously, when she completed this, it's so easy to do that you can tackle any size of design that we do. Okay, I'll just show you what you get in your kit. This is the design here. So the outline's on the fabric, and I've just placed the organzas over the top, just to give where we get one colour overlapping another, you get quite a lot of colour change, which is really, really quite nice. So framing your piece, this is a display hoop. All right, so this means that there is no way of altering the tension. It's not for stitching your piece, but it's perfect for framing your work really, really quickly. Once you actually completed your design, you're just going to put the 2 pieces together, and then you just press the 2 pieces together, and that gives you the tension, and then you can lace the design on the back just by lacing that, and then obviously put a little piece of fabric over the top, just to hide all the stitching there. So there's a nice way of framing the piece. They're on our website. We've got lots of different sizes, but this size is the 5-inch hoop, and it's just brilliant. So have a look at those, and we've got all kinds of combinations of display hoops. So I'm just going to put my work back into the spring hoop. So this is what I would call a working hoop. Very easy to use. It keeps the tension very well. And you just take the hoop, and then you're just going to place that through and just hold the fabric in place. I'm just going to remove my needles out of the way to start with. I'm just going to get tangled up. Okay, so I'll just place that over the top. Now the hoop, if you're working with the hoop and you feel as though the spring is getting in the way, you can move it around your work very, very easily. Now I've got these tangled up. Okay, let me just stop that one. Okay, so this is, I'm just going to have a go at doing the leaves here. Right, so on your card, that they're organised. Again, this is a variegated. Most of the ones here are made by DMC. A really beautiful shaded, multi-shaded threads. Really, really lovely to work with. So I'm just going to show you the first thing. Now, this is a good stitch for a curve rather than a straight stitch. So it's almost like an overlaid back stitch. So you start by just bringing the needle up in between 2 points. And then each time you place the thread to one side, and then you bring the needle out where the other one went in. And it's almost like it'll curve very easily. So the smaller the stitch, the tighter the curve, and you'll get a really nice smooth line that creates that curve of the grasses. Easily to do. If you find that sometimes if you're doing a lot of this, say you were doing a tree, but you might want to do it freehand and not put it in the frame, whichever's comfortable for yourself. And as you start to stitch the variegated colours, just the magic happens. And I'm using 3 strands, so that the thread's made of 6 strands, and you can make them thinner, you can mix the colours together. But I'm using 3 strands on here, and that's just going to give a really nice shape there. And then when you look at the back, it looks a little bit like a back stitch, not as smooth on the back of the fabric. So you're just going to work those through, and the same for the flowers this time. This time the flowers are worked in the same way with the stem stitch. Really lovely. Stem stitches are one of those stitches that's really very useful if you're doing lettering or if you're doing an outline shape. It's the perfect stitch for that. So I'm just going to fasten that thread off there. And then I'm just going to show you the colours that are in here as well. So you'll get a collection of beads and sequins with the kit. And so you'll get a mixture of shades of teal and shades of green, a couple of gold and some gold sequins. So that whichever one you can, if you just want to put a little bit of sparkle on there, you can do that, or you can go and use the whole lot, because I tend to put so many beads in, you've got extras for another project. But the idea is that the leaves here are worked in the beads, and then the gold beads, and then the sequins at the top there. So it's a really simple, easy design to do, and really fun to do, especially, you know, if you're traveling or you're just going around to visit somebody. You know, it's a very portable project that you can just put in your bag and take with you. Really fun to do. So I'm just going to show you how you do the flowers. Now this is a piece of organza. So you just cut the organza into a small rectangle or a square. Just it's only about 1 centimetre in size. You're just going to fold that into 4, and then again into a sort of cone shape, and that's going to make the flowers that are going on the salvia further down. So to do those, you just take a pin and just hold that in place, and then you can just secure those with a French knot. Now I'm just going to use a French knot for one colour. It'll be okay for the moment. So you're just going to secure the organza. So very easily with either a straight stitch or with a French knot, and that's just going to hold that in place. Just take the, actually don't throw yourself on the pin, so I've just pushed mine straight through there. So once you've got the organza, you're then either going to do a little bit of a French knot and just hold that in place, and that becomes the flowers that you can add. So you've got not many stitches in this design. You've got a couple of a stem stitch, you've got some French knots and a little bit of fabric, and I think that is a lovely project to do, and you can add to your collection. I can't remember how many of these designs we've got, but we've got loads of miniatures, so you could make a nice set of designs there. Really easy to do. And then I think earlier on we started with the design with this one, which was the sand. I've added a little bit to that, and again this will be perfect for the to display in the 5-inch hoop, and I've just added a couple more beads. So you'll find in this design that there are some really fabulous beads, sequins, some are glass, some are wooden, and that's going to create, once you've done your sort of main elements of the shells, then you can fill in the whole area with beads, sequins, or even just French knots, And finally, when I find where I've put the little bit of organza, here we go. So once you've got all your elements on your design, and you can really see and make those shine, the next bit is to do the little bit of the seaweed on there. And in your kit, you'll have a little bit of organza that's really that I've just torn, and I'm just going to twist the organza, and then you can pin it on and distort the fabric just so that you can put that and just make it look interesting. You can move that. If we're going to couch it on like we did earlier on. Yes, I mean, it's just, I mean, you could knot the fabric as well if you want to make the seaweed look more textured. And then that piece, if you just have a guide as to where you're placing that, if you're going to frame your work in the 5-inch, then you just make sure that your design is going to fit into that shape. I mean, the fabric is so big, you could actually use, you know, if you want to develop the design a little bit more, you can use, and you can keep going, and you could frame that in a 6 or a 7-inch hoop. But you're just going to distort. You can twist and fold, or you can knot that fabric. And then you're just going to secure that with a small stitch. So like on here, you've just got a tiny stitch, it's called couching. So you're just going to add those, and that's going to just be enough to secure the fabric on there, and you can add as many layers as you want. So it's both a lovely product. So see and sand, you'll see them on the feature web page.
Do you want me to quickly
page.
show that now for you, Katrina, and then we shall go and grab everybody else. Let me just set that up for you.
Okay, that's lovely.
Oh, where are you? There you are. Right. So here is the Rowandean website. This is kind of where you will land, and usually Ted is very good, and he puts all the ones that Katrina's been stitching in the show on there, and there's those hoops that everybody was asking me about as well, but everything should be on there. Or have you got a Secret Sewing Club section now? Oh no, there you go, there's the C one. We can see that. There's Cowslip Meadow with the straight stitches. So they are all on there. You'll be able to find them there. And again, you're not shopping with Secret Sewing Club, you're shopping directly with Rowandean. So let me go and grab everybody and we'll jump back together. Very briefly. Hello. Anybody there? Yes. Oh no, they've wandered off again. Dear me. I mean, I think I've got now a new candidate for naughtiest guest, and I think that's going to be Lorainne and Jeff, because they just keep wandering off. Sasha, she's a whole different catfish. She likes to expose herself generally. She just doesn't think. She just gets up and leans over, and then everybody sees everything. But yeah, now I've got two problems. But Sam has been no problem at all, and it is your go next if you've got a quick like 5-10 minute demo. Yeah. Perfect. Let me switch it to you, and then just make sure that I have unmuted you. There you go. Oh no, we can't hear you, Sam. Sam, we can't hear you. Have you muted yourself? Oh, hang on a second. No, we haven't got any sound for you, so just bear with me 1 second. We might have to pop across to Lorainne and Jeff, who are there. Hello, Lorainne and Jeff.
Hello.
I saw your mischief in the cameras. Sam's just fixing a microphone. Actually, I've got a question for you guys. So, somebody was asking about the name of the William Morris bag.
Yeah, it's called the Weekend Duffel.
The Weekend Duffel.
Yeah, it's on our website.
Perfect. They're asking about that one. So, if you can, obviously, you know where it is, you know where the website is, the free delivery code is on the bottom there. You guys have got about 10 minutes if you want to show anything else.
Yeah. Us, Hayley, yeah?
Do you want us to carry on, Hayley?
Yeah, we've not got a demo as such because we weren't set up for them, but we can talk about some more of our little friends. This one's called Lorainne. No, it's not. It's called Greg the Gorilla. So we just wanted to introduce a couple more of the funky friends to you, and just reiterate about some of the techniques with those. So we've got the sloth. This is Slowpoke the sloth, who's just hanging around, not doing much today. He's having a day off from chewing all the leaves. And then we've got Crocodile Steve. Now, an interesting little footnote for that is Crocodile Steve, because Pauline lives in Australia, is actually named after Steve Irwin, the guy that used to kind of capture the crocodiles and rescue them, and the guy that tragically lost his life when he was kind of diving, I think. So that's what he's named after, Crocodile Steve, but a cute little crocodile that is very popular for kids, etc.
Steve Irwin was stung by a stingray.
Yeah, stung by a stingray.
See, full of useful information.
And then Lorainne is holding up Calico the signature bear.
Yeah, so do you want to grab that pattern, Jeff? Because it doesn't actually look like anything on the pattern. I call this one Curly Ted. And again, we've made him in this lovely kind of boucle fabric with his little faux leather pads. And he is jointed. So when we talked about the memory bears, so you bend the beginner bear, Melody, you know which one? Have we not even got Buttons, the best dressed bear here? He is super.
Buttons, the best dressed bear, is gone out for a drink, I think.
Has he? Right. So, so the good thing about this bear, again, is you can make it in fleece, you can make it in all sorts of lovely fabrics, but it was originally designed by Pauline. So, you know, when all the students leave school, and I think in the UK, they all sign shirts, don't they? They all sign the shirts. But when this one was made, the idea behind Calico's signature bear is that they all put the signatures on the bear. So who knows? Someone over here in the UK might create a new trend. So instead of writing everything on shirts, it could be done on a teddy bear. But we thought we'd show you our lovely Curly Ted, because it, like we said, it doesn't look anything like what's on the pattern. And the joints are literally just sewn on with the buttons. Again, Sandy Bots, if you're watching, she made him.
Were you saying something, Hayley?
Yeah, Lorainne, I've got a question
yes.
from Anne. She says, where do you find the fur you made the donkey from, please?
Right, so that fur is kind of exclusive to us, I guess. So if you want any, we do sell it as a kit. We don't sell any of these furs separately because we go through so much of it. But we do sell donkey as a kit, and that's the same for the Curly Ted as well. So if anybody's interested in buying the kit for the donkey, and if you've already got the pattern, we still sell you the kit. So if
you've got the kit without the pattern, yeah.
You know, if you've already got a pattern and you want to make your donkey in the curly fur, then we sell the kit separately, or we sell it with a pattern. Just drop me a message, because we didn't kind of put them in your file for today, but we can get that organised.
Perfect.
I just want to reiterate, especially when you're doing a teddy bear, about pinning and following the instructions and marking all the markings on there, because when you're doing the foot, obviously on the bottom of Calico Bear is like a circular pad, but when you attach it to its legs, it's kind of odd. You create the circular piece, but you've got pins running all the way around it, so it kind of creates a 3D shape as you've pinned it. So it's absolutely important that you use loads of pins on that at that point, because creating a circle without any puckers, and again, Pauline gives little tips about how you snip the seams all the way around the edges of here. You put little snips in there on the inside to allow you to do the curve without any little puckers or tucks in the end. But pinning it and marking this front mark and back mark, because when you're lining them up to your leg pieces, you've got those markings on the leg pieces as well, and that makes it because it's slightly oval. So you want to make sure that you're getting that the right way around. So again, just reiterating the importance of making sure you're marking all these letters, all the markings on, and you're following those little pictorials that she does.
Right.
What else, Lorainne? Have you got something
anybody
else?
else got any questions for us?
Not at the minute. I've got a thank you from Anne for asking hers. If they've got any more questions, I'll just drop them in to you when we're all back together. But I think Sam has sorted herself.
She's ready now.
Herself out. She's
Yeah.
sorted her microphone out. There was nothing wrong with Sam. Sam is fine. I shall switch you over to Sam.
Okay.
And she's going to show you one more thing. Hang on 1 second, Sam. I've just got to unmute you. There you go.
I think that's the only time somebody's ever said that there's nothing wrong with me.
You're welcome. There's not.
You heard it here first, people. There's nothing wrong with me. No, my microphone died. The battery on the Rode wireless.
Is that what it was?
So I had to swap my battery packs.
That's all right.
So,
we're all
that's
good.
fine.
It is a long haul.
I'm used to doing my shows, so I've got spares of everything. I am prepared for every catastrophe except me. Okay, so in the second demo, I showed you very quickly how to fill the cherry blossom template, and all of the templates and things come with a full tutorial, be it either PDF download or a video. We've got a whole bunch of videos on our YouTube channel, so after the show do head over to our YouTube channel. And I mentioned right at the very start that if you shop the Mum's Makery link, and the link that is the QR code, which I will again just pop into chats for you, you'll probably get this link before I actually mention it. But can I do it again? I don't know. It's a very special link, so you won't be able to see the products that I have here because they're not visible on the website until the 1st of February. So it's kind of an exclusive everything here. The snowdrops and the lovely lavender are quick starter kits, which I don't normally do on my website. So if you are interested in having a go at needle felting, then we've got some little quick kits that can really get you started in a flash. And as I've mentioned earlier, the snowdrop template, that makes these lovely large daisies as well. So the templates are very, very multi-purpose. So in the last demo, I made this, and look what else. No, I'm kidding. I already had these made, but I don't have an iron with me on the set. That would just be chaos incarnate. So what I would normally do is, once your flowers are made, you would press them with an iron, and that will take your, I've got some leaves here which I've got for another project, but can you see how beautifully thin they are? And this one's a bit fluffy.
Sam,
yes.
Can I ask, when you iron them, do you
Yes.
use steam or no steam?
I use all the steam and all the heat. I do everything to wool that my grandmother told me never to do.
Just full beans.
Full steam, full heat. The tutorial will take you through it, but when you press a potato.
I know we've been on a while.
I'm making up my own words now. I've had so much coffee. When you press a petal, you press and you just give it a little bit of a wiggle. You don't drive. So unless you actually want to flute and distort the thing that you're making, and in some cases like leaves, you might want to do that. Usually you're just putting weight on it, you're driving that steam in, and it just knocks all of the air out of it, makes it really, really nice, super thin petals. And that's how you get that finish. And then you just take a very, very small pair of snippy scissors and you just cut off any little frizzy bits or wildlings that you might have around the edges. I do want to very quickly mention that if you do shop any of the products off of the super secret link, then there will be a free gift, which you should automatically get dropped into your bag. If it doesn't appear there, then just shoot me a message using the chat with me button on the website. But you will get a free gift, and that template makes a whole project. If you see the crocus that I've got over my shoulder, I don't have the bouquet here with me on set, but the free gift is the crocus petal, and the tutorial makes not only the crocus petal or the crocus flowers, but it shows you how to make those leaves and everything as well. So you effectively get a template that you can make a full project from. And I don't think she's in any of the chats, but one of my lovely ladies, Joanne, used the crocus template to make moth wings. And they're absolutely delightful. So again, lots and lots of scope with the templates for making a lot of different types of things. The website is mumsmakery.co.uk, but we do have a birthday bonanza going on all this month, and there are games and stuff in our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/mumsmakery. And if you hop along and join our Facebook group, you'll be able to join in for some fun giveaways, because we are celebrating our birthday all month long. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. So what I thought I would do is show a little bit of a quick assembly, because once you've got all of your petals and your flowers and your leaves and your bits and your bats made, assembling something like the cherry blossom is super simple. What I've got here is an array of buds and flowers. So the tutorial will show you how to make the buds, and this is all going to be using brown florist tape. So these flowers actually only use 2 out of the 5 petals from the template, or 3 of the petals. So what we would do here is you would felt in these 3 with your overlap in the center, and that would make this flower. If you did 2, that would make this flower. So they're very, very versatile for making lots of different sizes as well. This one, I believe, is a 5, but it's a 5 cup. And then you've got your full 5 petals, which are fully open. And like anything, we're going to start at the top. We'll start at the beginning, because Julie Andrews said that it was a very good place to start. And who am I to argue with Miss Andrews? So if you are unfamiliar with florist tape, it's the weirdest stuff. And you can probably hear it squeaking as I draw my hand across it. It's not sticky, but it will stick to itself, and it's activated by a pulling technique. So I've got myself a piece of tape that's far too long, but I'm going to start with just a couple of buds. A little bud at the top, position, and then just twist those wires together. Then I'm going to add another bud just a little bit further down, and you can look at compositions in pictures. So what I'm aiming to do is make a little sprig like this one. Then we're going to go with our 2-petal flower head, and I'm going to bring that down, orientate it, and twist it. Now I've started to get my sort of first petal on. I'm going to start adding in my florist tape. I probably should have done it before that petal, but I'm speeding ahead of myself. So you just wind it on, overlap it, wind it down a little bit, then you add your flower, twist it on, and then give yourself a couple of wraps like that. Then come down a little bit more to where you want to add in your next one. So I'm going to add it in about there. So maybe just down a little bit more. And stagger, you know, you want to stagger your flowers. Not necessarily directly opposite, but you need to look at it from sort of all sides. Wind that round, give myself a little bit more. And you can start seeing that it comes together so quickly. Now I've got some of the 5-petal cups, so I'm going to pop one in there, twist it all round. And you could go on ad infinitum, just adding and adding and adding, because as you add, this keeps extending. So I'm going to put one there. I'm going to pop another one there. Let's just wrap that round. But you can see how quickly, you know, you can make up these little sprigs for table decorations, for little gifts. I'm going to put in a couple of, so now I'm getting down into sort of what I want to be the bottom. So I'm going to put a couple in together, almost at the same level. Twist those wires around. And then take my tape. And if you break your tape, you just go back up, overlay, like that. And then I'm going to put a final one, I think, maybe a little bit lower. I said the tutorials really do take you through every single step. And, you know, nothing is really left for you to guess. And I'm always on the end of a message, the website. You can always just message me through my website. It sends me a message and an email. So I've got some very sturdy wire cutters. I'm just going to trim that off. And then take my tape all the way down to the bottom. And that's how quick it is to assemble an entire sprig of the cherry blossom. And here's the cherry blossom just used as a little accent. And then I've also got three sprigs here in a vase. So there is just so much scope for making. And if you're making something else, some people have added the flowers to other creations. So if you've got a mouse, for example, you can have a mouse holding a little snowdrop. And the templates really do help you take all of the guesswork out of your creations. It really is a good way to start with needle felting, because we give you an approximate weight of wool, and we give you a jumping off point for creating the actual shapes that you're going to need. The foxglove project, which is this huge, lovely, great big bad boy to my right, is made up of, these are all of the petals. There's your calyx, and obviously that's a star shape. So, you know, you've got another shape there. And then there are 3 leaf template shapes as well. So that is the foxglove template set, which can go from making a little sprig or something like this up to a full, I mean, it's not a life size, because I've seen one of those in life size and they're taller than me, but you can add as much, you can do as much or as little as you want with a project like the foxglove. The all sorts as well, amazingly versatile project. You can make a tree, you can make a key ring. There's just so many ways that you can do needle felting with these templates and take them on completely different journeys. You know, the snowdrop will make a large daisy. You know, just absolute array of projects that you can make. And our Facebook group, I will warn you, they're all mad in there, but they are so lovely. They are a group of felting fanatics who are just, the talent is amazing, and they're always so helpful if you've got questions and things like that. So do head over and join our Facebook group after the show as well, and join in our birthday celebratory games.
Perfect. Okay, I'm just waiting on Lorainne and
That's okay.
Jeff coming back.
I can chat.
Oh, they're there. Oh,
hurrah!
Well, what I was going to do, because I've been that busy running around trying to sort out sound, I never got to show you the things that we brought this week. But it's fine. I will do that. Do you know what? I'll do that now, and then give Lorainne and Jeff just a chance to get back in, and then we will go and grab everybody. So what have I got this week? Well, I've background change. We've got the last few, because we did them as a bit of a limited edition one, but the limited edition got expanded and expanded. It's the quilts that we did for Sewing Street. So these are all made from, I'm just put myself underneath my QR code there. They're all made from strip rolls. So these kits come as 4 strips, 4 rolls, and with this one you sew all 4 together in one great big long 12-meter long strip, and then you start chopping it about to create the design. So this one's tumbling stripes, and then there is a pink version which is called Bubblegum Lagoon, but I'll quickly show on your website, I will show you on the website that you actually get both patterns. So I think the patterns might be up on the web, but let me have a quick look for you. So you can choose either of those colorways, and let me see, oh yes, there you go. They come with both that one, which is the log mansion, because it's bigger than a log cabin, she's put the same one on both. So it will show you both colorways, but you actually get 2 patterns included with that. So you get the one to do that log mansion pattern. If you don't like that one, you can go for the tumbling stripes pattern that I've got here. There's 2 different colorways available, and that £10 discount that we offered on Sewing Street is still available, but that will end, I think it is on for another week, and then that will come off, or it's while stocks last, because obviously we do print these to order, but we have to do a certain amount at a time, because we can't just print one little roll, we've got to print a whole roll of rolls. So they are on our website. You can find them in the Secret Sewing Club categories. If I quickly show you here, if you head to the home page and then you just have a look up here for Secret Sewing Club, it will pop down for 26th of January, and that is where you will find them. So they are 4 12-meter rolls, all 2.5 inch, so they'll work with other kind of strip rolls or jelly rolls that you have if you want to split them up. But if you want to work them together, there are 2 quilt patterns included, so you can choose whichever one you prefer to make with your rolls. So let me see if everybody is, yay! Oh no.
Yes, we're here.
Honestly. I've got one that's always running off, got one that's always flashing. It's why do I do this to myself? But have you had, I mean, I'll go with Lorainne and Jeff first.
Look, I've got the coat, I'm ready to go home.
Well, we're going to finish roughly on time, which never ever happens. So I'm quite happy with that. So, have you had a lovely time on your very first Secret Sewing?
Yes, we've had a good time.
Yes, we've done a lot of chatting.
Good stuff, talking to people and seeing it, finding new people out.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I hope you will come and join us again, but we'll discuss that later. Hang on a second. There's a question for me about ruler grips. I'll get to that in a second. And then Katrina, you're like a pro at this now. You've done...
Yeah, I think we've had a great time. It's lovely being able to show things, our designs on Secret Sewing Club. We've enjoyed it. Thank you.
I also think your stuff's
next time, I think it's February the 23rd. We're on.
Wow.
So that's next time. And then I know it's a little way in the distance, but we're at the Stitch Festival in Islington in London on the 20th to the 23rd of March. So that's a fabulous show if you can get to it.
On the 23rd, we're actually going to be live on the craft store by that point as well. Secret Sewing Club is moving across. It's still staying as something, but it will be going out on the craft store page as well. So hopefully a load of new people will be introduced to you as well. So very, very, very exciting. And Sam, your first one.
Yes.
Have you embraced the chaos?
It's just the day that ends in Y for me.
It's not that bad. I mean,
No. I embrace the chaos because I am the chaos usually.
Okay.
So
Well, this is your fault then.
No, I've had a lovely time. It's been really, really nice to come and hang out with everybody. And, you know, as some of my ladies will tell you, I will take any opportunity just to sit and have a go at trying to make something. You know, it's just been a really nice environment to do it in as well. So thank you very much for the hosting.
It's quite
and
relaxed.
hope I will see you all again in the next one.
It's quite relaxed. I've got one more question for Jeff and Lorainne. What is the name of the bag, people, please?
The bag people.
Well, we're called Oh So Sweet. The patterns that we sell are Antis to and by Annie. All on our website. So if you want to put our website details up, Haley, that would be fabulous.
I will. I'll try and answer that question with your website. There you go. Somebody's already done it.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Liz.
Somebody's done it for us. Brilliant. Excellent. This is why we love these guys, because they're usually quicker than we are.
They know everything about us, don't they?
But thank you very much, guys. It has been a lovely Secret Sewing Club.
Thank you.
Check who's
Thank
on.
you, Haley.
Well, we've got an extra one.
Thank you. Well done, everybody.
Bear with, I've got admin. We've got an extra special one on Thursday. We are testing the craft store stream on Thursday, and we're testing it with a Secret Sewing Club. So that will be
nice.
Daisy and Grace, Sarah from White Gecko, and Anthea, I think. It was basically whoever was on last Sunday.
Yeah.
Because when they asked me to test it, they just said, can we have the same people as you had last Sunday so we can see if there's more numbers? So I said, yeah, no problem, we'll sort that out. So yeah, we've got an extra one, which is going to be a test. So fingers crossed that all goes to plan. And next week, do you know, I think we've got another new person next week. Let me just triple check it. Hang on. I've got so many computers now. It's getting a little bit out of control, I'm not going to lie. Because there's so many things that you've got to find out. Let me just have a look. Let me see who's on next week. So next week, 2nd of February, we have Natasha Makes. Oh, 2 new ones. Natasha Makes, Sasha Sews, and Sew Thimblewood. Another 2 new ones.
I have to join in for that.
Excellent, excellent. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for putting up with the admin. And we'll see you